to the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Allow me to introduce you to man's planation. We got Mr. Life, Amari. Can't forget about the bad Gemini. We in the building. Let's figure it out. Let's talk about what's been going round, what's been going down. Let's figure it out. Let's talk about what's been going round, what's been going down. Since a kid, I was lost in this man's world, thinking life is about money and beautiful girls. Raised off in the struggle, blessed to have my mother, blessed to have my father, but nobody really loves you. Started being up on the scene before I hit my teens. Think I started smoking weed before I turned 13. And I had a billion dreams just like Dr. King. But my dreams were never what my dreams seemed. From juvenile detention, when they wanted to lynch me, to the chain gang slaving me, I'm locked in prison. That's how support be crazy. Be careful making babies. You gon' have to pay a price to love them and raise them.
Well, sir, thank you. Next caller on the line. Next.
Mr. Life, man, help me out, man. I had problems with my old lady, man. Cross town, I got a girlfriend and all. I'm trying to figure it out, man. Get this thing together, man. Help me out.
My name is Jesse, and I'm from South Florida. And I've been trying to figure out why the sun rises and sets the way it do.
Yoo-hoo. I'm from Buford, man, and I love y'all's show, man. I appreciate you guys, man.
Let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. Preaching the word of man. What's been going round? Don't forget the ties by leaving your comments and your shares. Mansplanation. Let's talk about figuring this out.
Let's figure it out.
Let's figure it out.
Figuring it out.
Struggle, streaming all over the internet.
Hey, I gave y'all a lot of noise to get this started. How you fellas doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Like yourself.
Something is going on with your internet or my internet or your internet or my internet. BG, how you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing well. Everything's great. You know, hey, let's do it. Thirsty Thursdays as we do it. So, you know, I don't have my official sippy cup. I have wine. I guess I'm trying to be a better man tonight.
You say you're trying to be a better man tonight?
Yeah, so I'm drinking wine. I'm being very respectful. I'm not doing my sippy cup with the tajin rim and the tequila mockingbird. You know what I'm saying? We on this here. So, you know. He got Transformers at his house.
Yeah, you are a Transformer now. You might need to reboot. You was perfectly fine before, but now you are completely gone. Yeah,
you know, I was lucky. That could have been me. We had the whole little bad weather that came.
Yeah, just go down and come back up.
I thought the bad weather was going to affect me in the show. I was nervous.
How we doing now? No.
Nope.
He's trying.
And you all should know we are really trying to figure it out. We literally do a sound check before the show starts, and he was perfectly fine before the show starts. Ran off, came back, and now, I think you're there.
I'm here now.
Amari. Oh, yeah, you are there. You are there. So, okay. How you doing, sir?
I am doing great, Pastor. It's been a good week. This week is a little bit better a lot better than last week.
Well, I'm just hoping these are the last problems that we have for tonight. I'm trying to handle one last thing. So if you all want to take over real quick. Oh, no, I got it. It's done. Oh. We are done. All right. So let's get into it. Welcome to Figuring It Out on Manspanations Network Ministries, where we don't claim to know everything about all things. We're just trying to figure out some things about most things. And this is our Thursday night Man Study, where we study the word of man. We study how man acts, responds, and carries himself. And this show is true to form. We are studying the word of man, how man acts, performs, and carries himself throughout the world. And I am your host, Mr. Life is a Roller Coaster. So you better buckle up and get ready for the ride. And tonight we have all our guests here. We have BG. I almost said Toya the Tutor because I see her name up, and we have Minister Amari, and a special shout out to Low Cash the Great for our theme song. You all hear the theme song, figuring ish out. When that come on, that is our guy. That is our minister of music. We have two ministers of music. One works a little bit harder than the other, but we ain't going to talk about that.
But you just did, sir.
and let's give a special shout out to the people that sit in the front pews of our church. That's going to be Prophetess Kenyatta, Tamara that does the same thing, Deacon Henry, Deacon Tito, and also VVS. I know she's around somewhere, and Toya the Tutor. She's around here. She's now a part of the church too as well. And you all know we are Struggle Streaming.
Struggle streaming all over the internets.
All right, so Minister Amari, sir, what are you drinking tonight, man?
So I'm gonna go ahead to my bar back here. I think tonight
he got to go to the bar. Yeah. He just got to show it out.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do my Libre cucumber tequila. This is so good. I think I've mentioned it before. This tastes like the best mix of cucumber. The best. I can't even talk tonight. The best mix of cucumber and alcohol, right? Like, just think of something that's real refreshing.
Sound like he already on it.
Yeah, I might be
already on it,
and some other things. Yeah. But no, if you ever get a chance, like, this is about $35 a bottle, so it's not even expensive. But it's a great cocktail. All you can do is add some ginger beer, maybe even a splash of lime if you want to spice it up a little bit. This is great. You can drink this on the rocks by itself. I wouldn't drink it straight, but definitely you want it chilled. It's very refreshing, very good. And it's 100% agave too, so good quality.
All right. So BG, you said that you drinking on wine tonight? Is it a special bottle?
Man. Chateau Souverain. This here is a good old red. It has a punch to it, 13.9. I didn't want to get the wino stuff, so I was like, I'm gonna get me a good old red. This here is like a black
what's
cherry.
What's the wino stuff? What's wino stuff?
Oh, come on. Do I have to name it? Dude, let's go.
Name it. What is it?
Thunderbird.
Mad Dog.
Mad Dog. Yes. Thunderbird. Trust me. And even look, and then you got kosher wines. It's supposed to be kosher Manischewitz, right? Nowadays it's used. It was good 10 years ago. And now it's like a mainstay. Like, because it's affordable for winos. That's the whole, it's affordable. So it's like people want to be blessed with spirits. but all of those, the terrible wines out there. Yes, he knows about the Mad Dog. So
it's $6.91 for Manischewitz.
Look, yes.
Wow. Wow.
Look, my whole thing is, if you're gonna go cheap wine, at least get a table wine. They don't judge those as hard as when you see people with the Mad Dog and the Thunderbirds and all this other stuff they be on. At least get that, a good old red table wine. But tonight I'm relaxed. I ain't want to be ratchet. We talking about being grown tonight, so I'm being grown.
Hey, when I'm thinking cheap wine, I usually go with a port. So I go with the Taylor. Or I go to Trader Joe's and get me a good port wine for about $12. And port wines usually carry about 22% alcohol by volume, so you can get there real quick, and it's sweet. So it doesn't sneak up on you. You feel it when it's going down, but you just know you about to have yourself a good time when you're drinking port.
See, you throw off winos. When they hear port, they're like, huh? Like, what? Once you say port, it's a wrap for them. Like, they're not understanding the stuff is sitting in barrels, you know what I'm saying, aged a little bit to get that extra punch, right? So
they get an extra punch. They get a lot of punch going on. Oh, man. So once again, this is Figuring Ish Out, and tonight we have a very serious show. This show is 5 ways to become a better man. And we're going to talk about a little thing. We're going to talk about a lot of things here. And we got some videos up. We got to keep the foolishness going on, all the hilariousness going on as well. But before we do that, let's jump into our first reaction video because we got to get straight at it. This reaction video is World Star Hip Hop Woman-splain This Ish. If I can find it. Here we go.
I wish girls would stop arguing with these niggas on the internet about this. Oh, what do you bring to the table? Conversation that everybody having now. Sir, nothing. I'm not bringing anything, and you're 100% correct. I agree with them niggas. Yes. Oh, you just looking for a nigga with a check. Yes. Because who the fuck said that? You guys are special. Like, guys in every class of society, whether it be the billionaires and the millionaires to the niggas that's fresh out of jail, bro, past your bread, who are you? Most of y'all have no fucking substance. Most of y'all can't sit at a dinner table and eat properly. A lot of you niggas ain't got no home training, shit stains in your drawers, boring as hell, no type of personality, nothing. And then you over here talking about what do you bring to the table? Nothing, dude. I look good. I got a fat ass. You like that. I'm going to take your money. I'm still going to be beautiful, and I'm going to go do it to somebody else until I find my Prince Charming, somebody I actually care about. Because a lot of you niggas, after the bread, that's it. You're a check. So if you guys are seeing us as pieces of meat and they just look good, I'll be that.
She fighting her own self. She fighting her own logic. What do you bring to the table? Besides money. If money is getting you bought, what else I got to be? Like, what are we talking about?
In about 10 years, gravity is going to be her worst enemy. Everything is going to be falling down.
Oh, she got a bounce house back there. I was about to go get some kids and see if they want to go ahead and jump. Get a little snow cone machine, some popcorn. Like, we got a whole bounce house for y'all kids.
The funny part to me was that contraption on her face, but let's not entertain all the foolishness that she looked like. Let's dive into the depth of what she was talking about, because she said something very important, and I think a lot of guys missed it. Right?
She said stain on the drawers.
Wow.
I thought I saw something real careful too. I wasn't sure. I thought it was a shadow, but I was confused. But go ahead, Pastor Life. Get your point out. Amar's already started.
He'll started. The point that what she making about, like she said, that men have no substance. What else do they bring besides their money? And I think that's what's important about this show tonight, because we're going to talk to men about all the other things that you bring to where you don't have to deal with this type of tragedy. And if you get caught up inside something like this, it's because you're not listening to our show, listening to the tips that we've been giving you for the last 6, 7, 8 months about how to qualify, how to get buy-in, because it's obvious she's not giving in no buy-in. She's not offering anything.
No, so
you turn down a woman like that. Go ahead, but I was agreeing with you. I'm just saying, a woman like that, you know what gets me about women like that? It all sounds good when they get these 2, 3, 4, 5 suckers, right? If you want to call them that. Then they get turned down, right? Somebody like, I know you were 10 for 10, and now you thought you're going to be 11 for 11. I turn you down. I disregard you. And now you're trying to chase me, and I have money. So now you're like, man, you're thrown off. You're like, what made me not successful in this instance when I know guys want money, they want these things? Well, guess what? Some guys don't care that you look like that, because they can buy somebody like that who's going to be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like, if this is what you're dealing with, that energy, I'm going to pay for somebody's silence. Look just like that, and they ain't going to give you all that feedback.
So first of all, I looked at her, and all I thought was she is literally the embodiment of inflation. And everything.
The embodiment of it.
What the fuck?
You starting already.
All that shit.
That's not a WT.
You said it was a bounce house. Is right. You were right. It looks like you just got pumped full of something. No, but looks aside, right? Because we're not all about looks. We're all about quality. Okay. And she lacks completely all of it. Just listen to her talk. It was like, if you listen to what she says, right? She's like, you're about it. She's telling you the kind of men she goes for. I want to go for people who have money. I want to go for people who have, because I want to be taken care of. And I'm looking at her like, I'm sure she is she attractive? Yeah, she's got some assets, but that personality is nasty and disgusting.
And some liabilities.
Yeah, very much so. More liabilities than assets. She's a sunk cost, really. That's an accounting term for all of you that don't know. So,
and she runs down all the things that men are not, right, and she give all these childish things about men that is so as a parent That the type of man that she's been dealing with.
Yeah.
She's been dealing with like podcasters or people inside the social industry, very young, probably got a lot of money at a very rapid rate, and probably haven't built themselves up to become a whole person. Yeah. And because definitely athletes, right? You kind of just see that. And you see it all over, or rappers, and she's getting ran through, but she don't want to talk about that. So, and that's the other thing. Yeah, she's definitely getting ran through. But when we talk about her, let's go back to this right here, because there's some other things.
Would you consider her more of a rental instead of a purchase?
Oh, that man, it's not even a rental. This is just window shopping.
Oh, so like the samples at Costco. Gotcha. Okay.
Oh goodness, y'all guys are wild. Yeah, nuts. Look, but she did end it with Prince Charming. That's the part that threw me off. You said all that to end it with Prince Charming, but go ahead, because that's what she's waiting on.
Let's look at these two pictures, right? Let's look at her laying in the bed versus her when she's made up.
Well, that's her, and then that's her avatar. So.
Yeah, that's too made up. Like when it's like that, it does. And the thing, look at her. Even though she's half sleeping tired, her natural beauty is, this is what bothers me. Her natural features are okay face-wise. It I don't know what, gosh, they be doing some the most sometimes. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was trying to get to that stain you saw. So her eye color may not be, but I'm talking about on the picture of her laying bed without all that makeup is pretty good compared to all the extra stuff she put on. Like her natural wake up, I'm fine with that. I don't know if she plumps up her lips. Maybe she may have contacts, but look, her eyebrows without the extra makeup on it, without the extra weave and all that, that's fine to me. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Some guys like what you see when she has the whole leopard on, but I'm okay with her just being natural like that.
I don't know. And this is me personally, but I look at all of the makeup that she has on, and I really feel like it's to try to cover something, right? It's like at a certain point, like there's natural beauty and there's accentuation. That's a whole fucking avatar. That's not even her. Like if you line the original up with the avatar and put them on a mugshot, there'd be two different people missing. Like you wouldn't even know. But
is the original terrible though? Is what I'm saying. Like she doesn't need that whole beauty. Avatar.
She doesn't need that. No, she has natural. But see, for the men that she's going for, and also simultaneously complaining about, they like fake and inauthentic, right? Like to Pastor's point, she probably is being passed around because when you put out meat, as like the bait or whatever, you get dogs. So that's exactly what she's doing. Like she's not dressing like that for a respectable person, right? You're not dressing like that for like a CEO going to a dinner for Fortune 500. No, you're not going that. That's a club attire. That's the VIP section of the club where they're doing the bottle service, the cheap ass little fireworks, walking around with an overpriced bottle of alcohol. That's how you see in that spot. Yeah. So again, I think in 10 years, gravity is gonna be her worst enemy because everything's gonna be sagging.
Well, her attitude is her worst enemy right now. We ain't even got to make it to 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's going to change. But that whole Prince Charming thing, that's what throws me off every time. Like they say, you said all of that and basically said, I'm going to find the right one, even though I'm going to disrespect and dog guys. I'm like, okay, well, good luck with that.
I was trying to find this spot.
Badass, you like that. I'm going to take your money. I'm still going to be beautiful, and I'm going to go do it to somebody else. Until I find my Prince Charming, somebody I actually care about. Because a lot of you niggas, after the bread, that's it. You're a check. So if you guys are seeing us as pieces of meat and they just look good, I'll be that.
So she agrees.
She agrees. She's agreed that she's a piece of meat. So she agrees that she's passed around.
Yeah. So if anyone cuts, 5 years from now, someone cuts this scene out, remember that she said it too, and I just agreed with her. So if anything, I'm a feminist.
He's back on that.
Tamara said she's not a rental or a purchase. She's plain Airbnb. That is definitely she's a motel, not even a real hotel. This is a motel chick. The one where you have the doors on the outside, where you walk in, there might be some bugs flying here and there, where they charge by the hour, might charge by the minute. You take her there, get it in, and you get it gone. Look like Amari knows what I'm talking about. You've been to those?
No. I'm just trying to imagine, is she a Motel 6 or La Quinta Inn? I haven't
No,
decided.
she's way
yet.
past that. She's way past
No.
that. This one with the lights flashing, right?
So
Where
you
all the
know I
lights are
would not
missing
know
out.
about these,
You
right?
red light districting her. That's what you doing. You doing the
Yo,
red
the
light
lights be
district.
flashing where all
You
the
doing
words are
bunny
not
ranch.
lit up, and they actually
bunny
have the
ranching
rates
them.
by the hour. No, they have rates by hour. They actually have motels that have it when you drive through the hood that say rates by the hour. You can literally go pay $25 by the hour.
You mean the OnlyFans hotels? Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just go knock it in, then
Prostitution
you get it gone.
hotels.
Yeah, you get it gone. That's where she is. This is not even a real date night. This is
Yeah,
this is Waffle House night, right?
Yeah, she's not. She said millionaires and billionaires. She's really hitting on hundredaires. Maybe get 1,000 there every now and then, but she's not really
A
'cause
couple
she's got
dope
too much-
dealers.
Yeah, she's there's too much competition out there that talks less and acts better. So
Oh man. All right. So do we have any last words on this young lady for after we hip hop, real star hip hop mansplain this shit? We almost done with it. Because
Well,
this
I
is
would
just
just-
disturbing.
I would just say maybe keep a check mark every 2 years to see the progression and degression in her personality.
We need
I
to
would
find
say
again.
this last thing. Guys in the league, don't go spending your whole paycheck and just don't. Because some guys in the league have these ambitions and you see them do it. They get caught up. And it's like, this is not the level. Don't pay for that. If you're a
Ooh.
guy in the league, a
Ooh.
carpenter, a barber, a
Yeah.
DJ, construction, don't go throwing your money
Yeah,
at that. You're not
she's
getting
a
your money's
payment
worth.
plan. She's a payment
Yeah, don't
plan.
do
Like
that.
she's a layaway.
She's a layaway.
Yeah, that's a payment plan.
Let me show you this again. Maybe it's just my radar going off. I see many red flags here.
Is that just the
BG,
hair? Or
Do you see red flags? I see plenty.
What, the tattoo? Please don't go to the. Does she got a Tweety Bird tattoo on her ankle as well? Is the one that's on her upper chest? You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about the tattoo. Let's talk about the hair. Let's talk about the makeup. Let's talk about when she turned around that she got a fake butt. I almost guarantee that those are fake boobs too. We can continue to go on down the line. This is just
she's built an image.
yeah. This is a walking plastic Barbie black girl. This is all this is. And then when you hear her talk, matter of fact, yeah, this is just window shopping to me, man. You see it as it walk by, you look at the butt, say, oh, she got a big old butt, and then you laugh at it because you look at the thighs and you can tell that the thighs are way too flat to actually match the butt, and then you laugh at it, and then you keep it on moving. That's what I
would
see
she
inside
be-
this.
Would she be a Church's Chicken or a Popeyes then?
Yeah, Popeyes costs too much. She's definitely Church's Chicken.
Okay, just making sure.
But I will say this though, honestly, if you're not, she's attracted to money, but say you're an average guy who's not flashy. The problem with women like that, when they say they want the Prince Charming, but it's all about money right now. A good guy is not coming with the whole savage approach, right? He's coming respectful and all of that. And the reason is it'll be hard for her to find that good guy. If he comes up, he's gonna get embarrassed. We know the type of energy you put out. Those good guys always get embarrassed by women like this. You walk up, man, you ain't got no, I don't deal with broke brothers. You ain't got, and he's like, dang, it's like he just saying what's up, hello. Because if you ain't flash, you ain't got the look. It's like you're wasting my time. So if you wanted a good guy, definitely the attitude must be addressed. Because if a good guy came up to you, you're the type that probably would embarrass him. And you already know a guy ain't with that being embarrassed on the house.
So Pastor, we did a video a while ago of an interview of women saying how they would prefer dating like a dope boy over like a regular guy, right? Because of the excitement and everything. And I think you hit it on the head. I think you hit it on the head. That's her target demographic.
Yeah.
Bimbification personified. Amen. Amen.
Yeah. All day long. All day long. She's only getting hit on by a certain type of guy. And even those guys need to be very cognitive of what's going on at the point in time. It's all about the money.
Yeah.
She already said it.
Yeah,
she already said it. So they should already know. So I'm
might
hoping
rob
they're making
them.
fast money.
She might rob them. Like I get that from her. Like she'll rob them.
Oh, so you think she'll set up girl?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, she does have
Just-
that looking vibe.
Yeah. You can tell like nothing about her is trustworthy. Right? Nothing about her is like look at that. Like all of her, if she went out in that, if she came out as on the left side, went back in and changed on the right side, you would literally think you just saw two different people. Like think about it. If they said put an APB out for someone, all she had to do was take one shower, take out her hair, and bam, you never find her. That's all I'm saying.
You don't know who she is after she go home and change, right?
Exactly. That's really a disguise. That's what gets you.
That might be a man. I don't know.
You might be right.
But look, she robbing everybody, even if she's not a setup girl. Because
is this in Atlanta or San Francisco? Which one?
The performance may be underwhelming. I think that's what guys don't understand. You paying for it, but the performance might not be what it is. And if it's underwhelming, that's a few grand you don't blew, and it's just off of the looks. My thing, if you're gonna look the part, huh?
A few grand?
Yeah, because think for the guys she get, yes. Because I'm gonna tell you the tricky thing about stuff like this. We always say her demographic is strictly these dope athletes and all that. But honestly, there's older white Caucasian males who that 2000 doesn't hurt them. They like this stuff, and we always take them out of the equation. This is one thing what a brother from the hood and JoJo and all of them may pay 500 for. Those guys are okay paying $2,000 for, because that's the equivalent in their mind. Like, oh, it's just $2,000. So we always eliminate them. But trust me, if you go watch these news reports, those are the guys who getting caught 60, 65, got a wife around the same age, they got money, and them the guys who getting caught in the parking lots and all this other stuff. You're like, sir, the officer gonna come to him. Man, ain't your wife at the house? Come on, you can't be doing this, Gerald. You got to get home. Like, just don't let me know. Like, it happens. So it's not one demographic. Her demographic is money.
Yeah. And then some of those dope boys, they have a couple $100,000. There's one guy I read up on, he had like $300,000 underneath his bed. And he was like, I got more everywhere else, right? So that's her demographic, right? That's what she wants. She's all about fast money. Think about it. She doesn't want a man. She doesn't want a man in the league, right? Because that's not enough danger, that's not enough excitement, that's not enough drama. There's not enough money, but it's also not enough drama. Right, you can tell she lives off of drama. She needs the drama.
She need to ride in a Charger or a Hellcat, and bump it up.
Yeah, she's the one that's gonna be on a Hellcat, right?
Yeah. You put on a Hellcat. She don't know how to act.
I get it. I get
Hellcats
it
and demons. Yes,
she is like the lower end version of a Jada Pinkett Smith.
I thought you were gonna compare her to Nicki Minaj with the Barbie. You know what I'm saying?
No, Nicki Minaj can have a conversation to a degree.
She can. She can.
She can have a conversation. This person can't. What I'm saying is that if you think about it, some of the qualities that we've mentioned, I was saying when we talked about with Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith, right? Drama, always want to start something, right? Center of attention. Think about it. All she is a lower quality, watered down, pixelated version.
That she is.
Y'all ain't gonna do that to Jada. Stop it, man. I'm done.
We already did it to Jada. We had this conversation like 3 times in a row.
Yeah, we do it all the time. Like Jada always gets it, right?
Her alone. Like now she's become the bar. Find somebody else.
All right. Time to leave this young lady alone. But and literally give me 10 seconds of what guys need to avoid when like some form of a buy-in or something that they need to look for and make sure that they have a good picker going on. Give me one quality.
If you trust her to count your cash, then you can tap that ass.
This man's out here. He might as well be at on some pimping stuff right now. It ain't even a relationship at that point.
Straight up,
like, ain't no relationship advice in that. I mean, look, he don't throw me.
It's called honesty. It's called honesty.
Buy-in.
If buy-in or any type of qualification.
If she's willing to let you meet her friends.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's also a setup. Be careful. That can also be a setup.
Doesn't matter. If they hiding their friends, I'm nervous. You hiding. If I don't know who your closest friends are, then that means I don't know you at all. That's how I feel about it.
That's a good point.
Mine's fairly easy. If she go inside her wallet without you asking.
That's a thief at that point. That's an easy one. Did
I say go inside my wallet or go inside her wallet?
I'm just messing with you. I'm messing with you.
Yeah,
go inside her wallet. I'm just messing with you.
Go inside her wallet. You're like, no, if she's going to spend some money on me, that's a good sign right there and there that we can probably get somewhere. But hey,
buy you a drink at the bar.
Yeah, buy you a drink at the bar. That's a good sign that she actually has some form of buy-in and willing to negotiate or make a deal. Get mad with the brother. That's what I want.
Would you be turned on if she paid for your haircut?
That one, I just play it as it is, but we talking about a regular young lady, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Regular women's
yeah,
like, hey,
yeah,
I'm gonna pay for your haircut. I'm like, dang, my haircut, all right, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, sure, let's go for it. I'm gonna get the full thing, right? I'm gonna get the wash, I'm gonna get the massage, the
Shampoo,
facial.
condition.
You like, where the esthetician at?
I'm gonna get all that going. All right. So let's get back to it. All right, 5 ways to become a better man. That's what we talking about tonight. But we got one bonus for you guys, for the ladies as well. I know we talk about fellas. Yeah, this is strictly for fellas. Ladies, watch out for these qualities inside men, because this is what you need to look for, and make sure that you have a wholesome, well-rounded man. But I do want to preface one thing. None of these things that we talking about tonight will be looked through the prism of a lady. And what I mean by that, we hear the terms like he ain't a man because, or he ain't a man because he didn't do this for me. We are not looking at a prism of being a man through a female-centric viewpoint. These are what men need to do to become better men overall. I think the biggest misnomer and misconception is that women treat men, women think that how a man should be viewed. I get it, but how they treat them. Not the case. Only caveat to that, he can't be violent or verbally abusive. And it might be a few more, but those are like the pinnacle of where a man needs to actually stand when it comes to those type of things. When dealing with a woman, no violence, no verbal abuse, and non-threatening demeanor. That's where those are my 3. The other 2 guys might have something different, but those are my main 3. And if he can do, and he needs to maintain that. Do you all have anything to say about that before I move on?
Well, I'm confused about what the statement was supposed to be about. I got lost in all of the explanation.
Okay, all right. No problem. What I was just simply saying, what I'm simply saying is, a lot of times we hear women talk about a man is who a man is because how a man treats them.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that what we're doing tonight doesn't have anything to do with how a man treats a woman. These are just 5 ways to become a better man. And I saying the caveat to that is a man cannot hit a woman, or a man cannot be verbally abusive to a woman, or those type of things. So those things I kind of agree with women, to where he is not a man if he puts his hand on her. He's not a man if he abuses her verbally. Those 2 character traits that I do think disqualify a man from becoming a whole man. Make sense now?
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, all right. So before I move on, do you have anything to follow up or any character traits there?
I would say if you get to the point that you see yourself getting to either one of those, leave.
That's a great way. Get out.
Yeah, just leave.
Matter of fact, we're going to talk about that tonight. BG.
Yeah, even if you're leaving her car keys, take them.
No, y'all hit it. I don't have to add anything to that. Y'all got it.
All right, so we want to get into the bonus round. And the bonus round, we're going to give you one that didn't quite make the 5, and that is keep your composure.
Yeah.
I've told a story one time before about when me and my wife was walking down to Whole Foods, and it was some guys like the loitering trying to sell candy bars at Whole Foods. That's a whole nother thing, right? And he saw me the week before with my friend, and he see me with my wife the second time, and he made a comment saying I was walking away, and then he said that he'll come get it or something like that, but it was a threatening word that came out of his mouth. I paused, I looked at my wife, and I kept walking. And as I recall, she tapped me on the thigh, and we just kept it moving. But keeping your composure inside those type of times could mean life or death to a man. Because if you jump off the hinges, something goes on. I hit him, he hit the ground, I got a charge. I turn around, I approach him, he got a gun, he shoots me, I'm dead, my wife with another man in 2 years. So
yeah, sounds about right.
And got about $400,000 inside life insurance. So
win-win.
So win-win for her, not for me. So keeping your composure is a main thing that men is a bonus thing that you got to do, because we know as men trigger each other easily, and men have a trigger inside us that's automatically combative, and confrontational, and we will meet you head on. Most men, not all men, but most men.
So I would say when it comes to keeping your composure, right? Like for me, it has been in the corporate world. Because so as a man, right? So let me say it like this. In past life situation, right? What he's trying to tell you is he had something to lose, the other guy didn't. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand is that in times where someone's like coming at you the wrong way, you have to ask yourself, what do you have to lose? Because you don't want to fight a fool at his own game because he's going to always beat you with experience, right? Like there's no point in that. So I think to Pastor's point, ask yourself, what do you have to lose? Because like he said, right, he's got a wife. He's got four. Well, I don't know if you got four. You got investments. You got insurance policies, right? Y'all travel and shit. All that could be lost in a moment because the moment you get a record, that becomes even harder, right? So that's all I'm saying is I think Pastor made a great point is in keeping your composure. I'm gonna say it like this. I've had to do that in environments in the business sector because I typically am the only black person when I go into a room. And having to be able to navigate that minefield of microaggressions and corporate talk in order to get that check. Yeah, it takes a lot of fucking willpower to be able to do that and to be able to do it well. So all I'm saying is just learn to keep your composure. And it's not always easy, right? Especially if you're someone who has hot-headed. But the more you practice at it, even if it's a little, you can get better with it.
No, I'm rocking with that. I think some of these will overlap. So that's the good thing about it. So along with keeping the composure, I would say communication kind of, because the composure thing sometimes is linked with communication, where so you're frustrated and you want to address an issue, but it comes out wrong. And then it escalates. And then you're like, dang, right? And so it's like the example I would have when I was at the bar, it was keeping composure, but it was communication where it was a guy, and his group, and they were taking pictures, but he's like leaning on me, and I'm at the bar with my girl. And so the thing is, I'm not mad, like, cuz, you know what I'm saying? Bruh, like, it was simple, like, hey, I was like, man, oh, my bad, you leaning on me. Like, he's like, oh, okay. And he ended up buying me a drink. I didn't say anything disrespectful. I didn't get wild because he realized, oh, my bad, let me buy him a drink. If it had been like, man, cuz, you don't see me back here? Man, I know you want to get this picture with your folks and stuff, man. And then it goes, it's left, and then because he's with his people, so it's like, you're not going to embarrass me in front of my people because he had his whole crew, his family and stuff. And so it's sometimes they intertwine when it comes to that. It's to keeping composure, but then knowing how to properly communicate helps you deal with them with the composure issue. So sometimes people have to work on their communication and properly communicate so that you don't show the lack of composure. You can feel the emotions, not saying minimize your emotions, but you have to express it in a way where somebody can receive it. And when you express it in a hot head way, you're going to get hot head results.
All the time.
So another thing is that it does not make you less of a man to walk away. I think we got to get rid of that stigma, right? Because this whole idea that I got to stand up and like fight for some shit, no, it's not important. Right? Like if you live to be 95, 80, 70, whatever the fuck years old you want to live to be, are you going to remember that one moment? Are you going to remember how many times has some Pastor Life BG, how many times does someone cut you off? Do you know the exact number?
When in traffic?
Yeah, in traffic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I cut off people all the time, man. Yeah, I get
cut off all the time. So you that guy. Okay, got you. So
I'm that guy and I do both. Yeah. I actually
like you. All of that.
What? You actually what, Pastor?
I actually salute people that get me because that's some pretty good driving because I try my best to stay up inside somebody's butt so they can't cut me off. I try to close that gap between the other cars as far as possible.
Well, my point being is that eventually you don't remember the shit, right? Like
you
don't remember, right? In the moment, it seems like a lot, but just ask yourself if there was someone there. Because I keep saying this over and over again, right? I think a lot of people don't understand is that even if you have a little bit, you still have something. And you don't want to lose that little something that you have over fucking nothing. And I think people don't understand that. We're so invested. And it's weird, right? Because men are very hard. We are challenged when it comes to expressing our feelings. But if we feel crossed We have no issue showing rage, anger, violence. Like we have no issue tapping into that. But the other shit we struggle with. So what I'm telling you is that there are just moments in life that if you just take a minute and pause and just walk the fuck away, you save yourself so much trouble, right? It's about the long game. Too many of us are living for tomorrow and not for the next set of years. So don't give in to that moment, right? Because that person is not worth your time, your finances, your energy, right? You don't want to go to jail. Just ask BG. He's been there multiple times. If anything, his inmate number always starts with 69 for a reason. So what I'm trying to tell you is,
he's so disrespectful.
all I'm saying is that you don't want to be a
Said
repeat
69.
offender.
Yeah, he's just so disrespectful. You know, look, I ain't gonna even disrespect it right now. I can't even get into it. But look, I'm agreeing with what y'all guys saying, and so like we're gonna, you know what? Let's just dive into the top 5. It's on you, Pastor Life. Let's let them know.
Yeah, before I get into the top 5, we got to do one thing.
Struggle. Streaming all over the internets.
We struggle streaming all over the internets, all over the YouTubes, all over the MySpaces, all over the World Star Hip Hops, all over the Black Planets. We are everywhere struggle streaming. We struggle streaming. You see, we got about 20 people watching right now, 15 on YouTube, and like 5 on Facebook. So we need a great favor. Hit the thumbs up button on both of those. And then if you're on Facebook, go over to YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. And while you're there, like and subscribe. And if you're new to our show, like and subscribe. If you like what we're talking about, you see right there. Oh, I got it right there. That Manspin Nation's Cash App. Drop 99 cents in there. Drop $1 in there just to let us know that you are here and you appreciate what we're doing. We're not asking for that much, but if you think we're giving you great quality content, give 10, give 20. We're not asking for 50. Don't give no more than $20 to our ministry right now. We asking $20 is the cap that we want. We're just trying to do some things here. But if you feel the word of man pushing you, we will take the 100. I'm telling you, don't do it. But if you put it in there, I'm not sending it back. That's all we got to say. So hit the like and subscribe button because we are
Struggle. Streaming all over the internets.
Just remember, every cent that you give is 1 cent fewer you get taxed on because we are 501(c) and all your donations are tax deductible.
They are tax deductible. We are a 501c3, whatever it's called. We are that. So once again,
All
this
those
is a
letters and
ministry.
numbers.
Yeah, all those letters and numbers, we are a ministry. And that is true. So before we get to the top 5, we got to do one thing. Minister Mari.
Oh, yeah. So I'm coming
Talk about how we smell. Yeah.
So first of all, we smell like wealth. We smell like success.
I knew it was, you knew.
First of all,
Go ahead.
First of all, we smell like fucking, all right? And not the fucking that you saw on that previous video. Like that's trash fucking. That's run a train fucking.
No, we don't smell like yours.
What?
Sorry, me and Pastor Life had to go ahead and pause on that one. But go ahead, tell them what you smell like. I'm pausing on that one. What are you talking about?
Oh.
So today I'm doing something a little different. I want to introduce you guys.
Buddy.
Really?
TMI.
Right now?
TMI, bro.
I want you to try something new. So this is a brand that I think we should all support. It's black owned, black founded. It's modern. It's sexy. Based here in Atlanta. And so this brand is called Savvy or Fair, right? It's by a guy named Chris Classic who worked in the music industry. And him and his team hand make these colognes, right? Like hand make them. So there's not no machine, no factory. And so what I want to recommend to the gentleman in the league, right? This is a gift set, right? So if you want to try, like if you're in that process where you've been doing some colognes on Fragrance Line, you've been following us, and you're ready to make that plunge and try something a little bit higher, I think you should go with this, right? One, you want to support our people, but two, the shit just smells so good, right? So this is the Discovery Box Set 2, and I'm going to go into detail into all of them over the next couple of weeks. But the cologne that I'm wearing today out of here is called Soul Cafe. And so I like this because, one, these are travel sizes, so you can stick them in your travel bag, in your gym bag, in your overnight bag, in BG's case, your fuckboy bag, all those things. And so this one right here, I'm gonna tell you what happened when I wore this, right? So I was at a nice restaurant bar, at the bar of the restaurant, and it had an inside and outside open across, right? So you could see right through it. And I'm sitting there, I got my laptop, I'm doing work, I had a couple cocktails, and a bartender walks past me, turns her head and says, "Are you wearing Chris Classic?" And I said, "Yes, I'm wearing Soul Cafe." And she's like, "I knew it. I love that fragrance." And that's what you want. You want to be wherever you are. Someone walk past you, turn their head, and want to know what the fuck you're wearing. And that was this. You're going to get bergamot. You're going to get some amber. You're going to get some wood. You're going to get some spice, some patchouli. It is sweet, it's soft, and it lasts. This is the cologne you wear, and then you smell it on your clothes the next day. That's how you know this shit lasts. So this is one of the ones I recommend when you want to start making that transition. It's by us, it's for us, not FUBU, and it just smells great, right? And it lasts, and it's portable. And if you want a quick, if you're out, but maybe it's been 5-6 hours, a quick spray, 1 or 2, freshen it back up. This is what you want. So I'm gonna go on with the next ones in the next couple of weeks because we got 2 boxes to go through.
Don't forget the credit score on that one.
Credit score, by the way, yeah, 800. Can't even lie to you. Can't even lie. Definitely 800. The fact that when I wear this, and I've gone to several events, and people have stopped and asked me what I was wearing, that lets me know this is something special, right? It's good. It smells great. 800 credit score. So if you're right now, let's say you're trying to get your credit together, this is what you want to wear to an interview. This is what you want to wear to a networking event, because people are going to remember this fragrance. It's long lasting. It leaves an impact. And that's what you want to do when you're trying to get to that higher credit score. You want to make an impact. So go with this one. Thank you, Pastor. I need a catchphrase to end it off with.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, you definitely need a catchphrase for that. And everybody, we working on major things here. So once again, if you want to donate to the Maspin Nations, because we got a lot of things going on, we have a lot of things coming out the woodworks, more shows. We're gonna have seminars. We having stuff that we do on a day-to-day basis, and we talk about kingdom building and wealth building and all those type of things, and becoming a whole person. What we talk about on a day-to-day basis, we got plenty of things coming out. So once again, if you want to help support, go to that little right there. You see it going across the right there, bam, Maspin Nations. And once again, it's a 501c3, and so that means that all your donations go to a nonprofit, so it is a tax write-off. And that is true.
And also, we are not affiliated with Dr. Umar Johnson, so that is not a lie.
Why he had to go to?
Because one of us is lying, and it's him.
All right. So let's get into the 5. Let's get into the 5 ways to become a better man. And we came up with this list. We went down the list. We put like a whole bunch of things inside our Slack. We banged it out, and we all had like ones that had to stay in there, that should be in there. And so that we had to bang them out for the last 2, what made number 1 and what made number 2. So once again, the 5th one came from Palsa, because I know as a man being inside sales and understanding how life go, it's a competitive nature for men. So one thing that men have to actually understand and do is embrace competition. Failure is the first step to success. And a lot of men don't get this. When we talk about failure being the first steps to success, men think that, hey, I can't lose, I can't fail, I can't go out there and I can't get turned down by this young lady, I can't continue to put in all these applications for a job and going on all these interviews and not get the job. What am I doing wrong? Well, once again, you got to embrace that failure, and then you have to come back and ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? And go get that feedback and make sure that you're doing all the things that you need to do to make sure that you can get to success. I talk about it all the time on this show. I say, if you look at professional baseball, hell, let's look at professional NBA, right? I think Michael Jordan back in his heyday was shooting an average of about 43%. 43%. That's less than half. So he was missing less than half his shot, but he's still considered to be one of the greatest players of all times. If you look at the greatest 3-point shooter, they still shooting about 30%. But I think that Steph Curry is at like 39% right now. BG.
He's like 41%. I'm gonna put respect on MJ. MJ is closer to 48, 49. But the thing is, you only got to be right half the time. And a lot of other people are 45, 43 who consider leading great as well. But I'm listening.
Yeah, the same thing. So let's go back to baseball. I can still lean on the baseball because they make more, right? If you bat a 300 in baseball, that just means that you're getting on base 3 out of 10 times. You're not even scoring a home run. You're not making around all the bases. That just means is you walk up to a girl, you might get her name 3 out of 10 times, right? You get that? You get what I'm saying? You get her name 3 out of 10 times. But once again, if you continue to go up to bat and take those failures, you're going to get small successes and you build on those. That's called compounding, right? I think Minister Mari talks about that all the time. It's about those incremental things that you do to continue to move on. That's what I want to bring out when we're talking about embracing competition. What do you all have to actually say about this?
So
I agree. Look, go ahead.
Look, just real quick, BJ. So I think embracing competition, right? So there's a script. So we are a church. And from time to time, we do dust off this old ass book called the Bible and take something out of it. And so there's a scripture, I think it's Proverbs 25:17, and it says, as iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen the countenance of his friend. Right. So when I look at competition, right, I look at it like this, like Pastor BG, you all knew me when I was less successful, right? But as we learned and grew together as a group and as we challenged each other, and Pastor, as you challenged us to figure out what manhood meant, right? Because we all didn't know what it meant, right? And we had to figure it out with each other, but we became accountable to each other, and it wasn't always easy. But in that time, the competition between us, right? The growth between us, the challenge between us, always trying to do better, always becoming better, always learning, always serving, like that helped us become better men, right? Now, to BG's point, it took a lot longer, but eventually he got there. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you want competition, right? Because that's how you get better, right? And we're gonna get into it, but I have a model, and I don't know if I'm jumping the gun past it. If not, I'll become a full circle. You know that shit. The point being is that failure is your step to success, right? Failure leads you to success. And when I compete, and when I fail, now I know what not to do. And then I take that and I run with that and I become better because of it, right? Not everyone is born great, but you can become great with competition. When I find that person that's doing what I want to do, then I challenge myself. Well, how can I get to where they are in half the time? What do I have to do to do that? Right now, that's not everybody, but the point I'm making is this: is that you need competition as a man. You need someone to help challenge you, someone that you can compete with, and whether that's yourself, that's fine. Doesn't matter. But you need some kind of competition to grow. If you are in the league, if you are a welder, a mailman, a gym teacher, ice cream truck, handyman, whatever you had to learn that trade, right? You had to learn. You could have gave up, but you chose to compete with somebody, and that somebody was you. Then congratulations, you made it. All right, you are a master of your craft. You are bringing home the money. You are the man of your house. You didn't do that by being lazy and being okay with things. You had to go learn a skill and a trade. So competition is what helps men become better. I need to be challenged. I think Jordan Peterson said it best. Men need responsibility. And when there's competition out there and I'm responsible for some shit, oh, you don't know, I'm going to stand up to the occasion. I may be short, but we will see eye to eye. VG, on you.
Hey, look, Pastor, stop it. Like Pastor Life says, it's all about the attempts, right? Because Kobe, he had the most missed shots in NBA history. And, you know, people look at that and be like, that's a negative. The most missed shots in the whole history of that league. But at the end of the day, you know, at the time of his passing, I believe he was fourth all time or third. And then LeBron passed him all time in scoring. Right. So, of course, you're going to have that many misses. But look, at the end of the day, he's still top 5 all time in scoring. And so it's like, if I could be the number 1 in misses and still finish and be the top 5 all time in scoring, I'm going to take that deal. And the thing is, people get nervous and they don't want to take these deals because it's the embarrassment. It's, oh, I failed, I quit. Like, no, take that opportunity, because with life, and this is important for men, because look, it's not about the failure, it's about the template. If you mess up 10,000 times and then 10,000 the first time, you get the template, then it becomes the iPhone, it becomes this, it becomes that, the vehicle. And then all you do is that one template, right? You forget about the 10,000 that weren't a success. You replicate that, and it's wealth forever. You just keep getting money because that's all people doing. Everybody who grows and is successful in any industry, that's because they mastered the template. Once they get that one template, they replicate it. And then sometimes they build off that template. Oh, we're going to add a modification this year. We're going to add this. We're going to do this. And it's like, man, you killing the game off of this one thing, and you set for life. So take all the chances and opportunities, a guy. Fail as much as you can, because when you get that template, that one template will set you up for generations.
So go ahead, Pastor. Go ahead.
Well, it's one thing you keep talking about Kobe, right? There was a story about Kobe that came out. I think they was playing for the gold medal or something like that, and the guys was just, and I think it was Rick Fox or somebody that was playing on the Olympic team with him, and they said, I wanted to get up extra early and be the first one down there shooting around, right? So the guy said he got up at 4:00 in the morning, went down there and started shooting around. He said when he got down there, Kobe was already sweating, already icing his knees and that type of thing. So he went over there and just said, what were you doing? And Kobe said that I wanted to intimidate everybody else. I wanted to be the first one shooting. And he already, I think the guy said that he already took like 200 shots that morning. 200 shots. He went out there and shot 200 times before the first guy even showed down there. But he did it to intimidate everybody else. Something that men need to understand is that with competition comes a level of aggression.
Yes.
That needs to be had.
Yes. 100%. Yes.
You cannot be a docile man all your life, or you will not get no. Well, don't let me tell it. I'm gonna just let Jordan Peterson talk about it.
Say that someone who is incapable of cruelty is a higher moral being than someone who is capable of cruelty. And I would say, and this follows Jung as well, that that's incorrect, and it's dangerously incorrect, because if you are not capable of cruelty, you are absolutely a victim to anyone who is. And so part of the reason that people go watch anti-heroes and villains is because there's a part of them crying out for the incorporation of the monster within them, which is what gives them strength of character and self-respect, because it's impossible to respect yourself until you grow teeth. And if you grow teeth, then you realize that you're somewhat dangerous, or maybe somewhat seriously dangerous, and then you might be more willing to demand that you treat yourself with respect and other people do the same thing. And so that doesn't mean that being cruel is better than not being cruel. What it means is that being able to be cruel and then not being cruel is better than not being able to be cruel. Because in the
Pastor, can I stop it right here real quick?
Go for it.
So I want to talk to the men in the league right now who you have been son husbands, you have been docile, you have been, I'm gonna go with the flow, everything is okay, I'm chill, laid back, all that shit. I know some of this may not sound like you, but it is you, right? Some of you have been neutered and you don't even realize that shit, right? I'm just being honest with you right now. Some of you have been neutered, and what he's talking about, you don't think it applies to you? When you start embracing competition, that aggression that you've pushed down and ignored and pacified, or your mother or your auntie or your grandma told you not to do this or to calm down or all this shit, fuck it, let it go out the window. What Jordan Peterson is saying is this, is that within you is a monster, and it is better to be able to unleash the monster and manage it than to repress the monster and have that shit come out, or to be docile the entire time. I think too many of us think that if we just pretend to be okay, if we ignore the good, if we ignore the bad things and we just be a good person, everything will be okay. That's not how the world fucking works. All right. That's not reality. What this man is talking about is that you, within you is a beast. And I know it sounds archaic and shit, but within you is the ability to achieve, to get shit done, to move forward at an animalistic pace. And the moment you can tap into that and manage it, you tap into that manhood. You tap into that essence of what our ancestors were, right? It doesn't mean that you are aggressive and angry all the time. It means that you can manage the beast within, and you can call upon it when necessary. I am on average, I'm probably at a 7, but my friends know, BG and Pastor know, that if you cross me the wrong way, there's a certain movement that I do, and I don't even realize that I do it, but I turn my head to the side and I look at you, and then I repeat what you said to make sure you understood how fucking stupid you were. And then you get to see who I really am as a person. All right. And I didn't know that, but that beast was always there. And that beast has pushed me to places that most people in my family will never get because they have a beast that they haven't tamed. I've tamed my beast. So what this man is saying is find your beast, find it, embrace it, and then manage it. So let's continue with this video, please.
First case, you're nothing but weak and naive. And in the second case, you're dangerous, but you have it under control. And, you know,
appreciate the plug, Pastor, even though it was not intentional.
I know it's a plug in there. I'll let it finish.
But I think that's the thing, right? Because it's about a man embracing, just like the minister said, right? Embracing that competition, embracing the beast inside you. Because once again, if you get inside competition, that beast will rise up. Now, what you have to do outside of that, you have to learn how to tame that beast. Because once again, I'm trying to think of the pro basketball player that was always fighting and got kicked out of the league, but he was real good.
Oh, you talking about Latrell Speedwell, the one who choked his coach?
Too. Oh, yeah, exactly, him. But it was another one. He changed his name.
Rasheed Wallace was good.
DeMarcus Cousins.
Oh, no, you talking about Ron Artest, Meta World Peace. Marcus, you talking about Ron Artest. Gotcha.
Yeah, him.
Meta World Peace.
Yeah, because him and his wife wasn't untamed, right? They started the whole brawl inside the entire whole arena, fighting fans. That's what happened when you lose control of yourself. He was a very competitive guy. He was trying to win, but if that competitive nature is left unchained, you will lead yourself down a road of self-destruction. And we see this with a lot of young men, right? Especially the ones who grow up inside the whole inner city, that might want to delve out into selling drugs or something along that lines. There's a fierce competition for more territory, for selling, and just trying to gain that whole notoriety. What do? The first thing they want to do is go start wars. We was watching a show. You all might not remember the show, but the show was The Wire, right?
I remember The Wire, yeah.
The Wire is something that inside there is a supply and demand. And one thing that the guys up top wanted was peace, because they know as long as they had peace, money was being made. The guys at the bottom always wanted war, because they wanted chaos and carnage so that they can try to make more. That's one thing, and that's one thing that those young men lost their lives for, because they was just trying to move up and make a little bit more. But if you learn how to embrace the competitive nature, I'm going down the wrong road with this, because it's talking about selling dope, and I'm trying to get off this track right now.
I mean, you know what you know.
Yeah, you know what you know. But if you take that same competitive nature that you had when you were doing drugs, I mean, you were selling dope, and apply it to something else, something that was meaningful, inside life, you can get a whole lot more. You don't have to worry about the jail time and all those type of things. It's about you embracing who you are, but using it inside the right direction.
But those, here's the thing though, right? Like, if you're in that lifestyle, the right direction doesn't make the money as fast, right? And I think that's one of the key differences, that when you've had nothing, and I can say, hey, you do this deal, you make 10, 20 grand, that's what you're gonna do. Now in the league, that's not how that shit works, right? You make 10, 20 grand over a period of months. The difference
is get it.
Yeah, but the difference is that the average pay so there's a book called Freakonomics. The average pay of the corner boy is equal to that of a McDonald's worker. The only difference is that you die, right? Like, you get shot at, right? And a McDonald's employee, the worst thing to happen to you is you get an angry ass customer and they write a Yelp review that don't matter because your icy machine is broken because McDonald's doesn't have ice cream. So anyway, point being, what I'm trying to say is that to the people you're talking to, it's hard to make that transition, because when you go from nothing and someone puts 20, 30 grand in front of you and says, all you got to do is this, it's hard, right? So it takes a man to step up and say, I won't do the easy thing, right? And I think that's where boys and men get separated. Is with the boys, it's to do the easy thing, but the man is to take the harder road. And it's not always easy taking the harder road, but you become better for it. And I think, Pastor, you know that because you grew up with people who chose that lifestyle. BG, enough said. So, words take care of themselves in that case. So what I'm saying is that it's not always easy,
But that's part of it, right? Like you don't want the easy road because the easy road isn't the way to manhood, right? There are plenty of guys who are 60 years old who are still fucking children. I call them my uncles. So they never grew older, right? They never
throwing
grew
everybody
older.
on the bus tonight, right?
Everybody. No one is safe, including me. All right, but continue.
We got what's we got? That's one of the 5. What's the next one, Pastor?
Let's get to it. Well, number 4. Let's get to it. Champion your responsibility / accountability. A man of means is a responsible man. And once again, well, don't let me talk about it. Let's just jump straight into the video and we'll give our response to it after that.
Is if I talk about responsibilities, everyone is silent, just like they are now. Silent and not moving, right? Focusing, attentive. Say, pick up your responsibility. Pick up the heaviest thing you can and carry it. And the room goes quiet and everybody's eyes open. And I think, that always makes me break up. I was sort of, it's so crucial because, we've been fed this unending diet of rights and freedoms, and there's something about that that's so pathologically wrong. And people are starving for the antidote, and the antidote is truth and responsibility, right? And it isn't because that's what you should do in some I know better or someone knows better for you what you should do sense. It's that's the secret to a meaningful life, and without a meaningful life, then all you have is suffering and nihilism and despair and all of that and self-contempt, and that's not good, and it's necessary to stand up and take responsibility, and they all know that and are starving for that message, and the message is more that that's also a good thing to stand up and take responsibility, because you're cursed so much now from when you're young with this notion that your active engagement with the world is part of what is destroying and undermining the planet and adding to the tyranny of the social systems. It's like, how about not so much of that, hey? Because it's too soul-deadening, it's anti-human right to the core, and my sense instead is that, if you were able to reveal the best of yourself to you in the world, that you would be an overwhelming force for good, and that whatever errors might be made along the way would wash out in the works, and that...
Man, that was deep.
Yeah, that was very deep.
Man, y'all real somber tonight, man.
What do you mean the fuck we somber? He was just talking.
Told you
I was
on the
listening
wine.
and absorbing.
But you on the line?
You want me to cut off?
I'm on the
no,
wine.
like, so when I hear what he talks about, right? Like, honestly, I feel like so many men right now are fucking neutered. To be honest with you, like, I know a lot of guys who are good, but I know a lot of them who they don't embrace that. Like, so I have friends who embrace that animalistic nature, but they manage it, right? But I also know friends who are so repressed that it's like, I want you to do something just a little bit dangerous, just to balance some of that shit out, right? Like, and there's nothing wrong with being an average Joe who goes to a 9-to-5 and doesn't have drama. That's not what I'm talking about. Because even in that, you can be a postman, right, and still know your shit and still own that whole thing. But a lot of men are still neutered and fucking castrated because they're afraid to speak up, right? They're afraid.
Man,
Go ahead, BJ.
Amari, let me say this here, because I'm not even gonna get into men being neutered. Look, I'm gonna be straight up. We like to be responsible for what we like to be responsible for, right? Everybody's level of responsibility, there's tiers to this here. The reason I'm gonna say it's stinking tears to this here, this is what gets me. So you talking about Pookie, Ray, and we can even give them names. It could be JoJo, Day. I don't care. There are plenty of them. So you trying to tell me after you go take the Nissan Sentra from your girl, yeah, look how you like. I just look, I kind of thought
Nissan Sentra.
And look, yeah, I'm going. Oh, you want me to go to Toyota Celica? They don't even make those, but it just felt right saying it. Toyota Celica from back in the day. You bring that back empty, right? You do all of that. You don't care nothing about it. You ain't gassing your girl car up. You ain't bringing her lunch to the job while you borrow her car all day. You ain't bringing back the car clean. It's dirty. You doing none of that. You're not washing dishes. You're not going grocery shopping when she comes and you asking her what you gonna eat. But guess what? That dog riding with you in the car, right? Because you got your pit bull is riding with you, it's fed, it's watered, the dog got high. You bragging, you highly responsible for this dog. You ain't checked on your kids, you ain't called them, you know what I'm saying? You late on whatever payments you got. But this dog, so in that man, he's like, I'm responsible because look how I hold this dog down. He's like, ain't nobody taking care of this dog out. So for him, he's like, he's responsible and he doesn't see the neglect in all these other 15 different areas. So the thing about responsibility, people don't tend to think it's universal. It's for certain things, right? The things that mean the most to them. Take responsibility and make it universal. Look, do I want to do these things? No. But if I know Pastor Life hit me up and like, look, it's in the app, I need you to respond to this here. I'm like, man, I'm just trying to, figure out what I'm going to eat for breakfast. But let me go ahead and get this over with and then, because the thing is, you have to show that, because the thing is, it may bother him more than me. And just because I downplay it, that doesn't mean it's not important. I have to look at, we're all connected. We're striving for a same goal. It's easier to take responsibility if there's some sense of buy-in, right? We're all striving for the same goal. When people don't feel that way.
But wait, how do you convince a man who would rather take his dog for a joyride than his own kids, right? How do you convince him to switch responsibility?
It goes back. Now we go. Go ahead.
That gets deep. No.
It is deep. That's not a simple response.
The dog is in the passenger seat, well fed, groomed and shit, while the kid's at home in shitty ass diapers, even barely getting formula, right? Like, how do you convince that person to take care? Like, how do you convince them to make that transition, right? To caring for their kids like they care for their dog. And I said that statement exactly how I meant it.
No,
we see it all the time.
That's not a simple answer.
Right. No, it's not. But I think we can address it, right? But to get him to do that, we have to go back. We have to go back to the father, and I think that's the thing, right? Because the father has to be there, or a uncle has to be there. Somebody, a man of meaning, has to be inside his life to teach this man how to be a man, about responsibility. I think that's the biggest problem that we're running into, because a lot of men are not around to teach what Jordan Peterson said. Pick up the biggest weight or the biggest burden you can carry and carry them, and you carry it, right? You make it a burden to yourself to be responsible for that thing. Now, the problem is, when we're looking at this, these young men have been codified to think that their biggest burden would be a dog, because they've been codified by their mothers to not do anything, or haven't been challenged to actually motivate themselves to go beyond what they need to, because they are always told, sit down, do this, don't jump here, don't do that. Young boys need to move. They need to actually be pushed. They need to be challenged. They need to be reinforced that challenge, and they need to
early,
uncomfortable,
not out the house, but cut them loose.
Allow them to be boys, right? Allow them to lose. Allow them to suffer that impact of loss. Like
allow them to fail. Allow them to fail.
Yeah, allow them to fail, and don't save them. Allow them to fail. Allow them to see how it feels, and then sit down and have. I'm jumping inside number 3 right now, so I'm not going to go there. I'm going straight to number 3 on that one. But once again, you gotta allow these boys to do what they need to do in order to groom them to be men. But it goes back to the father, because once again, a lot of men they are very irresponsible, right? They go out, get a lady pregnant, and then what they do? Nothing, right? But if they actually take responsibility of the child and say, all right, I'm gonna carry this burden, I'm gonna carry this weight, because I do have a child. Now, what that does to that young man to do that is going to force him to go get a job to try to find a way to help take care of that child. Now he's carrying more burdens, because now he has a life that he is responsible for, a man of meaning. That gives him meaning.
What do you
right?
tell
that
the guy
kid.
whose parent isn't there? Like, we got to be fair. Let's make it
okay.
ideal to what it is. If the dad, because half the time we know the pops may not be there. So what are you telling that guy when it comes to responsibility?
I will talk to that guy, because I am that guy, and that is that you have to figure that shit out, which is why we have this show, because everyone on this show had to figure that shit out, and together we figured some of it out. I mean, as you can see, we had mic issue earlier, so we ain't figured all of it out. But the point I'm trying to make is that, so if you don't have a male figure in your life, right? Like, I'm an example, right? My dad was in prison, and he came out, and then he died, right? And shit happened between that. But that's the gist of it, right? I had no one to tell me how to be a man. And to this day, there are small parts of me that still struggle with that. But overall, when you don't have a male figure, I would say look at your friends, right? See where they are. And if all of them are where you at, you need some new friends. Right. So, and Pastor, in our circle, you were the one that showed us, right? You had the nice car, you wore a shirt, tie, sometimes a suit, right? You were well dressed, kept a haircut, right? And we looked at you and said, okay, well, look, if this person who can barely speak an actual sentence can make this much money per year.
He recycles his words a lot. His mouth works for waste management.
It's not that he recycles them. It's more that they kind of get stuck and eventually just gives up.
I mean, but when you say the 3 times, that sounds like recycling. But yeah, they do.
But I guarantee you his wife loves to stuttering though, and we'll talk about that later.
Look at that motor mouth at the look.
It's like, baby, speak a full sentence. Oh, just love it.
Instant orgasm, huh?
It's right. Read the Declaration of Independence. Oh man, I
don't even know if we're headed back.
They went on track. They went on track.
Let's go. We're taking responsibility still. We still doing that. Okay.
Yeah, but what we're saying is
still
that
doing that.
Even if you have no path to understanding what taking responsibility is, you can still take responsibility for yourself. And if no one's teaching you, one, you got this fucking show. We're here, and go back and look at all the 2-3 hour videos we have, because guarantee you we've been talking about this shit. And two is you are capable, right? Even if you don't think that you are, you are. Look at BG. What did you go through? That's enough. We already know it's a lot. Point being is that he went through it, and he is here today using the T-Mobile hotspot to be on this show. All right. He is on a hotspot right now, data plan, mapped out. And if he can do it, if he can come from the Shawshank Redemption, make it to this show.
I'm struggling. We're struggling streaming right now.
We need donations to upgrade this man from
Struggle. Streaming all over the internet.
We want to get him an unlimited plan. Can you please get him off prepaid? We are asking for a donation.
Unmobile right now. It's unmobile.
Unmobile.
You said it's unmobile?
Unmobile.
Well, once again, the explanation's right there. That's what you all see. But responsibility is the main thing. I know it's number 3. There are 2 more out there, but responsibility is a big part of it. It's everything into becoming a man of meaning. And a lot of men miss this because they want to put down responsibility and just coast through life. But that's not the burden of a man. A man burden is to carry. We are built strong for a reason. It's for you to pick up something and carry it. And either that's going to be weight or something of meaning inside this world. If it's talking about your family, if it's talking about a job, if it's talking about you innovating something, or is it the people around you? What are you responding to? A man has to respond to something, because if not, you will die. Men are not meant to be sloths. You got to have, I'm getting into all the other ones right now, so I'm going to just back off of those. Do you all have any final words for taking responsibility?
No, but I'm gonna give you a tie-in that's gonna lead into the other stuff you're talking about, but not, I'm not gonna dive into it. The thing about responsibility is the ability to take responsibility and buy in to somebody else's vision, because there may be a point where you're gonna have yours and you got to hire a team and you got to have a crew and you're pissed off, but it's like, look, you spend all this time not being responsible on the next person's job, the next person's this, so on and so forth. And the thing is, when you can show that investment, you're going to get caught up next when there's something in the vision you have, an ambition you have, and a drive that you want to have, and you're hoping people are taking responsibility and being accountable to what you have. So it's a universal thing, because you want to be that, because there may be a time that you need it. So listen, look. We get too lazy. We only care about what we care about. But the thing is, when you can show some interest in what somebody else cares about, when your number gets called, you're hoping that you can get that same feedback, love, and care for your vision. So that's all it is. That's buy-in. That's another thing we ain't addressed. Responsibility shows buy-in. If you can show buy-in in somebody else's vision, your vision may come 5 years from now, 2 years, or 10 years from now. But when somebody remember, be like, he went hard for me, and they'll have buy-in for you. So that's all I got to say about that part.
So my one last thing is this: is take responsibility and wrap the fuck up. All right, that is very. I need a golf clap. I need a salute. I need all that shit.
Struggle. Streaming all.
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you what. You're right. You're right. If you want a struggle stream, don't wrap it up. I guarantee you, that's not a struggling stream. It's a very efficient one. That's the time you want a struggle stream. Wrap that shit up. You want a struggle stream, all of that. Restriction.
You be struggling all your life. You don't.
Yeah.
Ain't no struggle when they going up that stream. Ain't no struggle. You're talking about struggling stream. They gonna make it there. They ain't struggling.
Yeah,
you keep
they
playing.
ain't gonna make it.
They gonna find a way.
You
They
want
do
You
not
got to have
struggle.
21 years of struggle.
if let me tell you something right now. If you have no experience being a man, and if you don't have anyone to teach you, then don't put yourself in a situation to teach someone else that. All right. I know it may not feel as good, but guarantee you it feels a whole lot fucking better than 18 birthdays you didn't plan for.
Ooh, I'm gonna leave it alone because this would be a whole nother show. Like, what would society look like right now if guys took advantage of understanding that my body's my rights? And a lot of guys say, you know what? I'm getting a vasectomy at 20, and I may reverse it when I'm 30. And a lot of guys just started taking that approach.
I love it. I love it. As a state-sponsored vasectomies. That's right.
The game would change, right?
Insurance plan, right? You meet your deductible.
They should do that. They sponsor frozen eggs.
Yeah.
Don't they sponsor all this stuff? So they should, vasectomy. I don't 20, get it at 18. You're an adult, 18. I may reverse it when I'm 30. And then you'll see society changes then.
I think we need to start a petition on change.org for that. Yeah. Put that inside the chat. Hey, yeah, make sure we put that somewhere. We want to start a change.org to get that on insurance plans. That would be hilarious.
This would be a class action. Matter of fact, I'm signing a class action lawsuit. It's discrimination. Why they don't offer vasectomy? Seriously. Look, a lawyer is ready to pick that up right now. I'm discriminated. Like right now. Yep, on my job. It's coming. Hey, what these lawyers name? Morgan and Morgan. I know they all, whoever these.
They are all over the fucking place. They really are.
Like,
they're in Georgia now?
No, but I remember the commercials from Florida.
Yes, they all throughout Florida. Hey, we taking it. Like, I've been discriminated on. They've never offered any level of protection. Eggs are getting frozen, all of that. Look, if a guy he works for a company, they should sponsor vasectomies. You know, if you want me to be here and not using FMLA leave and all this other stuff, hey, we ain't, hey, you know what to do. We gonna snip it in a different way. You know, we ain't gonna burn it like the women. We gonna snip the tip. That's all it is, and we'll bring it back right.
We gotta evangelize these to the fuck boys. All right, it's like, look, man, we know you lying in fucking left and right, and all you can produce, you get
$1,000.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, we will.
That's your incentive.
Yes, yeah.
We gonna pay for the procedure and give you $1,000.
I love it. This is
look.
Real
This
change,
is look.
people.
I feel momentum behind.
Change.
I'm nervous because this is gonna really be a petition fooling with y'all. Like it's gonna come. I know it's gonna happen.
I'm dead serious about this. We need to do this.
I know y'all are.
We need to do this. This is gonna be.
There's a misconception about your junk not working. That's the problem. When guys hear vasectomy, they think it's treating it like to the equivalent of we're literally going to the hospital and just cutting your junk off. That's not what's happening.
No,
you still can climax. You still get a release, right? You're not shooting blanks. What people say, blanks in terms of impact. Yeah, they won't have the potency. They won't have the key DNA to allow a woman to be impregnated. That's one thing. But you still will be shooting. That's the whole thing. Don't think you're limp. People get nervous and think you're going to be a limp biscuit when you get a vasectomy. No, actually, I have now 1, 2, 3 friends that have graduated to the vasectomy status. One had 2 kids in the military, said no. Yeah. Another one did it out of him in the military. Then my next homie, who's he had twins, and he said that he was like he can't have it after these twins because his kids is a big gap. It's like 18. And then 13, and then now he has these, I think, 3-year-old twins. He's like, it ain't gonna be another opportunity, vasectomy. So trust me, hey, it's a business decision. If it's your body, you have the right. And if a woman is upset and said, I wanted babies, it's like, look, I mean, I got a vasectomy. I mean, if I feel it's right and it's the time and you show me the proper buy-in, I may get it reversed. To then,
if you want to pay me to undo the vasectomy, that's different.
Oh, we need to get some shirts created. His body, his rights, right?
I'm telling you, that's all I'm like.
We gotta get it all.
That's what Mark said.
Yeah, his body, his rights. We're gonna put in the chat. His body, his rights. Hashtags vasectomies for me.
All of that. You spell that vasectomy with it ends with the ME instead of the Y, right? We make it
vasectomy. Yeah. That's it. All right. Back to the show. But before we move on with the show, let's get to the league because we haven't done the league yet, and we need to speed this process up right here. All right, let's get to the league. I don't know where my button's at, man.
Welcome to the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Once again, every week we give a shout out to men in a particular profession that we think that doesn't get acknowledged as much as they should. So we want to give them a special shout out. We call these men who make less than $100,000 a year. They are part of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. They must lead, protect, and serve, be problem solvers, be responsible, like we always talk about here, and must have a history of consistent employment or business success. And BG actually had something else that he had there, but I don't think he has it ready right now. We'll get back to it next week. You know what I'm talking about. All right. They must communicate. Yeah. So, all right. So let's start with Minister Amari. What shout out you want to give this week? Let's make it quick. So
make it quick. So I'm gonna give a shout out to Handymans because mine is fucking amazing. He came yesterday. As you know, I've been waiting on some furniture to come, stuff like that. And he came in and he was here from 10 to 6 and he put up paintings. He installed new lights, changed faucets, shower heads, went to Home Depot, bought shit, came back, installed that. And I'm just saying, like, I know a lot of shit. I know more than most people, but I know well enough to know that I don't know some of the shit about this house. He taught me the fact that I have windows that the top and bottom window both open and close. I didn't even know this shit could happen, right? My top window can close too. I'm balling like that. Okay, well, shit. Thank you for introducing me to a new level I didn't even know I even had. So I want to say all that to the handymans of the world, the ones that come in. You got an old truck, right? But it still runs. She has a name. You can fix shit. You just good with your hands, build stuff. Like he's getting ready to net one of my balconies, all that stuff. So yeah, to the handymans of the world, thank you for your service to people like me who don't give a shit enough to care about those things. So thank you. And I will pay you well.
Hey, right into it. Look, HVAC tech. Right now, I'm cool. Not because I'm cool, but because I'm pretending to be cool. Look, AC issues still.
Oh, you were dying last week. You were sweating bullets last week.
Well, right now we got a portable unit. He came, hooked up 2 portable units where it's in the windows, pull outside there, one downstairs, one upstairs. Tomorrow they're coming. They tried all he can. This guy was here till midnight. About 3 days ago, like getting it in, and he was like trying to solder and save the machine, but he was like, look, if I try to solder, I'm gonna mess up the component. So we're waiting on the coil, and so the coil is coming, and we're gonna have good, clean, cold AC tomorrow. But it's been miserable, you know what I'm saying, in certain areas of the house. Now I'm in the main area and the breeze is blowing right now. The machine's back there. I'm glad it's white noise. I can hear it. Y'all can't because I'm talking to the mic, but I need that because I would be in sweltering heat. So shout out to the HVAC techs, because guess what he had to do? He had to go up in that attic. And I took a little peek in that attic and I had a whole little N95 because it was like Stranger Things, the upside down in there. I'm like, what is this floating? I don't know how many dead bodies up here, but I ain't gonna stay long enough to find out. I changed the filter. Look, I changed the filter and I came up out of there quickly. And he was up there for a long time trying to get stuff right. So shout out to the HVAC guy technicians. And guess what, Pastor Life, you're right. Because if you're in the damn league, guess what you got to do? You got to stay strapped. STRAPPED. Start taking responsibility and produce purpose every day, damn it. Stay
It's a
strapped.
long ass acronym.
But it's
He
perfect.
it's perfect. He come up with them. Yesterday, man, me and my wife and my sister, we was at this place.
Calculating the letters.
He's calculating the letters right now. And man, we ran into these two guys that actually sells pipe fittings. Now I'm thinking pipe fittings, like why is that a real industry, right? And then he begins to show us the pipe fittings. Well, we talking about some large pipe fittings, probably about 2 feet long, 6 feet long, and probably about 2 feet tall at the same
I'm
time.
already happy
Well,
right now. Don't talk about no pipe fit. Go ahead, my bad. I'm sorry. That man got real silent. He was listening attentively.
I was trying to figure out where the pipes go. Like what
Oh, you know it ain't go. Stop it. Anyway, continue. I'm done. I can't.
well, these guys do the infrastructure water mains. So they do all the water mains that go up under the bridges, that go up under the water, that actually go up, that go everywhere. They do very large industrial things that go to the hotels and those type of things. So they pretty much fit the city to make sure that we all get water everywhere we go. So I know we hear a lot of people say water should be free. No, water is not free. You pay for the people to get the water from one spot, to get the water clean, to get it from one spot to the next. That's what you're paying for on a day-to-day consistent basis. That's what you pay for when you're talking about paying for water. So I want to give a shout out to those guys that go out there and do that work and make sure that we all have clean water running to our house, because that is a real job, a dirty job, a hard job, but somebody got to do it. So we want to give you all a shout out.
Welcome to the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
All right. So let's get to the third one, and we're going to have to make this quick. So once again, the third one is, let's get it up there. Communicate effectively. Words are powerful. Use them wisely. And before we get into that, let's get into Jordan. Well, it's a Jordan Peterson stream, so let's get to it.
You said that a harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very dangerous man who has that under voluntary control. How should people become more dangerous?
Oh, becoming more articulate is definitely, I would say, that's the primary array of weapons. So, I mean, physical prowess is something, and it's not nothing, that physical confidence that comes along with that as well. But the same thing replicated at the level of the ability to communicate and to think, that's a way broader field of battle and opportunity. So this is one thing that isn't taught well, especially to boys. It's more important to teach it to boys, I would say, because they're more skeptical of the educational enterprise in general, generally speaking, partly because they're less obedient, partly because they're less agreeable. That's particularly true for disagreeable boys. And agreeable boys get higher grades independent of their IQ and their academic achievement, because they're easier to deal with. So what do you tell disagreeable boys? There's nothing that makes you more formidable than verbal competence, than being able to articulate, be able to think, to marshal your arguments, right? It's a battlefield metaphor. Get everything in order. Get all your information straight, to marshal your forces. And so, I mean, that's part of the reason that rap artists are so popular, especially among disaffected young men, black and white alike, because they're unbelievably articulate. Right? They have this incredible verbal prowess. It's unbelievably attractive. And it's associated with genuine artistic and redemptive activity, often focusing on something that's approximately the voice of the underclass, let's say, but a powerful voice, right? And it's interesting to see how many young white guys identify with that.
Yeah.
Communication. Look, you go ahead, Pastor Live. It looked like you about to say something. Go ahead.
We had this conversation one time before, and I talk about growing up with a mother and around all girls.
Yeah.
And I said that I always struggle with communication and actually articulating my thoughts in a streamlined way. It's something that I actually have to practice. I'm a lot better writer than I am a talker. So, well, I can't talk anyway, but still in all, I definitely do better with the written word than I do actually verbally communicating, but I still have to actually express myself. So I work hard at making sure that I'm communicating in a great way. But as I look back and see that, it's because, we all have a friend that we talk about on here. He's a straightforward communicator. He says what he says. We all know what he means, and we know it's not going any further than that. He could use literally 4 words, and we know what's going on, and that is it. And a story that happened between me and Bad Gemini, we did dinner probably about 2 weeks ago, and so he gets it. So we leaving and going to this bar to actually have drinks, and he said, "All right, I'm gonna go get my truck." Now, the bar is literally in walking distance. Nobody bothers to stop him and tell him it's right down the road, because we all know he has his mind made up and he's going to do what he want to do. And when he said he's going to go get his truck, we already knew he communicated he's driving down there and nobody can stop him. So we never did bother to stop him, right? We just keep walking. He calls us 10 minutes later, like, "Man, where you all at?" We at the bar. "Where you at?" He like, "Man, I can't do it." We're like, "Yeah, you at the wrong bar at this point in time," right? So he finally came back up. But the point is, this guy is such a effective communicator with us in how he do things. He gets from A to Z, cuts out all the other 24 letters. It's A and Z, and we kind of know how it's going to go after that. No need to debate. No need to argue. He said what he said, and we know, like, hey, that's him. We're going to just keep it moving. But once again, he's a very effective communicator, and we know what he's trying to say. And we're not trying to say, we know what he is saying, so we just let it be, and we move on. But I say it all the time, being young and growing up with women, you learn how to talk like a woman at the same time. We use it, and women speak through a stream of consciousness. It's like whatever's there, they got to say it and keep it moving until they get to their point. I found myself doing this a lot as well. I found myself going back to this. Even tonight, I heard myself doing it as well. But a lot of time, being one of the keys to being a dangerous man, like Jordan Peterson said, is being an effective communicator, telling stories, getting to your point, and being concise.
Yeah. So I've had to learn how to navigate both those avenues because I work with a lot of women. In varying ethnicities and cultures. Oh, I said that all terribly. In cultures. So the point what I'm trying to make is that as a man, having to learn how to navigate in the communication space, right? So when I work with a lot of women, I hear a lot of "I feel" and "I think" and da 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 da, and I have to speak back in that same way, because if I just said yes and no, they wouldn't know how to react, because there's no conversation. It's just yes and no. Can this be done? Yes. Well, how do you think it can be done? Do you fucking care? It's gonna get done. But I have to be able to talk in a way that they feel that because, and I think people don't understand this, is that men and women do communicate differently. But if you are raised predominantly by women, you will communicate predominantly like women. And when you meet a man who communicates like a man, it's going to be eye-opening to you, because it's like, oh, so you're not going to sit here and tell me everything? You're going to say exactly what you need to say? Oh, well, shit, I didn't know I could even do that.
That gets me all the time, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. It gets me all the time. That's like one of my biggest weaknesses. And because my wife is like that. She communicates much like a man. We're like yes, no, and moving. So being a former F boy, I'm always looking for, I know there's something else. Why isn't it something else? So I think I have to fill the void with something else at that point in time. I still can't get used to yes and moving on. It was like, hold on, I got to come back. I know this is a trick. I always think it's a trick inside my mind that she's pulling on me, but it's never a trick. So, but once again, that goes back to me being raised by mainly women and being all around women, because that's all I've been taught. So I've been taught to actually communicate that same way. And a lot of men don't understand is if you can actually communicate very effectively, that takes away for you to actually use physical aggression. And I think that's the default for a lot of men who cannot communicate is physical aggression. They can't say it, can't convey it. So next thing they got to do is fight. That Jordan said it best. If you can communicate, that's why I think Amari is probably Amari and Bad Gemini are very dangerous people, because they are very good at communicating. Yeah. And they are very sharp with their words at the same time. And I think if you can actually master that as a man, it will get you to a whole man and get you things that you want.
So, and I thank you, Pastor, for that, because it's almost akin to code switching, right? You have to be able to master different ways and different types of language and speaking. So I can go into my workspace, my work dimension, and talk with a bunch of women, and I'll start saying like, well, I feel and I think, and I'll make long ass sentences because that's what they understand. And then when I'm talking to men, it's yes, we can do that. No, we can't. Here's why. And that's it. And I find I'm not gonna lie, I find myself yearning more for those men type conversations because it lasts like 5 minutes and we're fucking done. And we just get this shit done, right? So point being is that if you want to talk about communication, if you grew up around, learn to take those weaknesses and make them strengths. Because Pastor, even though you grew up around women, I guarantee you when you sell and you have to go talk to women, you can speak their language.
Oh yeah, you use how you feel. Like, what are you thinking?
Yes,
all the time.
Yeah,
It's always open.
Fucking time.
All the open-ended questions
that have infinite answers. And you know what? He hears me. He understands me. No, I want that check. I like making those 3 figures an hour. BG, that's an hour, not weekly. And
BG, why he coming at you like that? He been throwing shots at you all night tonight, man.
This is for payback from last week.
That's because I'm on it's certain shows. He knows he won this show as far as the disrespect.
You know what it is? You know what it is? I feel tall today. I feel tall today. It's all right.
I do sneak some nice sneak disses. Look, but Pastor Life, you just referenced it earlier, right? That's why when we're saying some of these things overlap with the guy who gets mad, and when we were talking about the whole composure, and then talking about properly communicating your frustration so it doesn't lead to that. So that's why communication is essential, right? Because people get mad when they can't communicate effectively and they want to fight. And the one example I gave too with communication was the guy at McDonald's when he went behind the counter and I was there and I was with, I think it may have been both of my kids. I think it was just my daughter, and he was trying to use the kiosk. And I've told this story before, and they're laughing at him. But because the thing about it is they kept saying, use the kiosk. We're not taking any orders, right? And this is like COVID era. So he's trying to use it, but he can't really read like that. But he can't express that. Look, I'm struggling. I prefer that you take the order here. You got to register that works, and it's easier for me. So he's trying to use it. And so now it's a communication breakdown. It's like, well, sir, you can use that. He gets mad. He's raging. He goes behind the corner, behind the counter. They're all nervous, right? And he has that stereotype. He has the goals because he's like, man, I told y'all I can't use this machine. And these are like young, like 19, 18, 20. So they're nervous because they hadn't had this energy before. And I'm sitting there looking at the whole thing, transpire. And I'm like, okay. So at that point, I'm calm. So I was like, look, so now I'm using a different form of communication, right? Which is like, come on, what's going on, man? Like, the whole, like, cuz, like, man, I can't even, I'm trying to use this kiosk. It ain't working. I can't even read like that. And they laughing at me. I was like, look, they don't even know all of that. I was like, look, man, don't worry about it. You need to get out of here because it looks like they're going to call the police and all of that and stuff. And he's livid because he couldn't express his true emotions. He went to 10 and went behind the corner, behind the counter. And then he said to the girl, I'm going to have my sister come up here, you know what I'm saying, and handle you because she was a woman. Yeah, his sister come up there to handle because one of them was a female, was a guy and a female behind the counter. So he's like, he ain't going to handle it, but he going to get his sister to come up there and handle the female worker at McDonald's. And I'm like, this is getting out of hand quickly. So now in that moment, I have to communicate to him like, look, that's not what it is. My bad. Blah, blah, blah. So he simmers down. He's gone. And then they come from behind the counter and they're like, oh, like, man, thank you. And we didn't know what was going to happen. I was like, look, man, he was frustrated. He didn't know how to read. He was trying to communicate that to y'all. But because y'all kept saying, just do it on the machine, just do it on the machine, he's probably one that's heard all of that. Man, you got this. And he's like, but I can't, because when people can't read, they kind of shut down, right? And so they're giving a solution, but the solution that they're giving doesn't work for him. So there's a communication breakdown at that point. So in that moment, I intervene with both. And so communication is important because when you talk about emotion, you think about all the people when they're like, oh, I'm on a ledge, they want to commit suicide. They get an expert communicator to come, right? We're talking about when it's police involved, like negotiations and all of that.
No, I would be
no,
different.
no. What I'm
Go ahead and
saying,
jump.
no, I'm going. Yeah, you would be that. See this?
Like, go ahead and jump. What you waiting on? Like, if you want to
crazy,
end
but
this
no.
shit, because guess what? Tomorrow's
You
happening
stop
for me, not
it.
you.
Look, you terrible. But no, they get somebody who is well versed in communication because they tend to have a better success rate. You're right. Sometimes the people are going to do what they need to do, but communication is important. It pushes movements and it saves lives. That's all I'm going to say. It pushes movement. The threat comes from Malcolm X and, you know what I'm saying, MLK, a whole movement. We're not ready for this movement in our society. You're a threat. We're going to eliminate you, right? Communication, you get a whole movement, it saves lives. Communication works on both ways. Communication can have everybody drink some happy drink, be somewhere in South America and think they're going to go to heaven and they're all dead on a ranch with Jim Jones somewhere out in the wood. So communication is deadly in so many ways. It can save lives, it can take lives, it can push movements. But you got to master that as a man.
You're right, man. Communication is right next to food and culture, because how else do you get people to understand you? One thing is by your food and your culture. They get to understand you at a point in time. Communication could get people to see your point of view, and if you can convey that point in the perfect way, or not even the perfect way, if
you're in sales, you know better than anybody.
Yeah, if you can communicate that, you can get them on your side. And I think that's a lot of things that a lot of people miss, is that just how you convey things, how you direct things, how you actually project things towards the next person. You could get feelings of all the empathy. You could get them to be on your side. You can get them. Minister Amari is choking right now. You all can't see him, but we can. He's about to pass out. Do we need to dial 911, sir?
It's not that I'm choking. It's when I hear bullshit, I get choked up.
No, but there's balance. You can come with your angle and aspect. Nobody's going to deny you what you got to say. But look, Pastor Life is in sales. Go ahead, Pastor. Continue. That's what you do. You're a communicator.
It's about you communicating, conveying, and painting a picture to a person so that you all can get on the same line. I'm not going to say the same way of thinking, but you want to get that form of empathy from them to make sure that you all can actually be inside the same place and actually communicating the same thing. Like I said, I used to tell my wife this all the time. Like, people use words, but there actually communication going on inside the communication. It's about how things are being conveyed. It's about the expression and what's the underlying tone and how you say things. We can say the same words and they could come off totally different in any different situation. So what is it you are communicating to that particular person? You can communicate negativity and danger by saying, man, what's up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, dog, what's up? Those are two different things, right?
Yeah.
We know how it goes.
So I want to say though, like for me, I think the challenge is that young black men, especially, since that's the one we're talking to, young black men especially, the exposure, right? The exposure to different cultures and different ways of communication. And I think because I got exposed to different cultures at an early age, that actually helped me, right? Like BG, like, you know that you communicate differently with your Haitian side of the family than you do with other people, right? There's a cultural difference there. So you got to have certain things you say culturally don't exist in English, right? Like, this shit doesn't exist. So you got to be able to navigate that field. And to pastor, like, because you are in sales, you got to know how to talk to women. You got to speak the language so they feel comfortable, right? And so to the men that we're talking to right now, it's not that you don't know how to communicate. It's just that you've been taught a certain way to communicate, and there are more ways to do that, right? So experience and fail at the shit, right? Because if you want to be successful, learn how to communicate to people so they understand you. And that's what we're getting at when it comes to communication. If I can convey a point and you understand me, then we can make some shit work. But oftentimes, like Pastor said, what's up and what's up mean two different things based on the context. But if I can get you to understand me and we can communicate, whether it be a woman, whether it be a man, whether it be a different culture, then you're golden, right? So what we're saying. So the best example I can give of this is Ryan Coogler, or the guy who directed Black Panther, right? If you listen to this man talk, he is 180% Chicago, like the full like draw and everything. So what I'm trying to say, is like, I'm talking about in an interview, right? But he understands how to communicate to CEOs, executives. He understands how to communicate a vision to where there was none. And so it doesn't necessarily matter how you talk, right? Because I think that's another thing. It's like how you talk, right? Because in the hood, we talk rough.
Misconception.
Yeah, in the hood, we talk rough because we live a rough life. So you talk rough. Like if you hear,
it's about
if you
clarity.
See a single black mother is probably one of the roughest talkers in the fucking world. What you doing? Oof. Sit your ass down. Be quiet. Oof. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna stab you.
Yeah. Who you playing with? Oh, you think you somebody? Sit your you see what I'm saying, right? So it's not even necessarily that learning how to communicate to be effective doesn't mean you get the shit right all the time, but if you practice, you can get better at it. Look at past life. Someone who stutters and dyslexic has a strength in writing. If that don't fuck up with your mind, I don't know what else will.
If he stuttered in his writing, that would be impressive. Like just a whole bunch of
just a whole bunch of S's and B's. Like,
yeah, I'm like, dang, he ain't even spell correct his stutter in the writing.
He speaks.
Oh, look, I know we got to move on to the next thing, Pastor. Can I get this real quick? And look,
go for it.
Communication. This one thing. This is what pisses me off. I don't care. I'm old school. Call it what you want to call it. Women, I'm tired. No, man. I am tired of you calling these women bruh. That needs to die.
That
I don't
is
know what
so
this whole
fucking
movement
confusing to me.
That's
that
a pet peeve to me with communication. Like, bruh, like you talking to, like, bruh, like I'm looking like, would you stop calling this woman bruh?
The women do it too. They're doing it too. They're calling the guys bruh. And I'm like, okay, how hard?
I'm okay with them calling the guys bruh. But when it's the guys like, yo, bruh, and I'm looking like, so she okay with that? Like, I'm like, you know what? Matter of fact, I ain't mad at the guys because the women respond to that. Look, if you want to be called bruh, I just all I know is it's cute when you're young, but I don't know too many women above 30 being called bruh. Because if you be calling bruh, it might mean you're bruh. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, I'm gonna go back to your statement about speaking, in the form of aggression and how men talk to each other, because one of the biggest problems I had was transitioning into the corporate arena was how I spoke to people, because growing up inside my friend, we spoke very aggressive. We would get in your face, and it was almost like we was battle rapping. We would get inside your face and just start talking, and we have this mean demeanor, and everybody would just be looking at us just like, man, I thought they about to fight. And everybody,
but that's how you talk.
But that's how we talk. And I remember we was outside church one day, and I did the same thing to that dude. And that dude was like, man, you real aggressive, man. And he's like, hey, man, we about to fight. I'm like, no, man, I'm just talking to you. I'm like, what you talking about? And he was like, man, you all up on me. You got your head down, just like got your hands moving. Like,
you did me like that, Pastor. You did me like that on the after hours of few. Like, he had that brown liquor in his ticker. He did not know how to act. He was this N-word, this type of dude. I'm just sitting there like, I mean, we gonna hug it up later, but I'm just laughing. I'm like, look, he ready to scrap. I'm like, we can agree to this.
BG's like, my probation officer is watching me right now.
Oh yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's ain't no 10-20 life. It's just life. The other ones are out of the equation at this point. I'm like, he's hostile right now. And I respect that. But you know what's so funny? Because I'm glad you brought that up. You know what's true? Because my girl, she saw my kids, my daughter and son, going at it. And she was like, oh my gosh, me and my brother never would have came at each other like that. Because they were cracking jokes on there, just ranking. She's like, y'all do that? Like, yeah, this is normal. So what you talking about, cracking joke? Like, get your little stank self off me. Oh, look at you in your head. Like, that's what you do as siblings. She's looking like appalled. Like, we would never dare do that. Like, Oh yeah, you ain't grow up in the black household, man. Cracking jokes and ranking was a norm. That was an everyday thing. Like you missed out on a lot. I was just laughing because I'm looking how appalled she was. She was stunned. I'm like, this is the norm. What are you talking about? But okay,
Look, that's the
I hear you though.
That's the norm, but that's a lot of people grow up, but you got to learn how to transition at the same time, right? And I think that's where a lot of men miss it because they don't know how to transition. They don't know how to develop those social cues and actually to learn how to communicate effectively, to become, like Jordan Peterson said, you got to be very articulate. Before we move on, I want you all to give people, because you all do it great. So I want to give you all the chance to talk about this, how to become a better communicator.
So I can tell you right now, expose yourself if you can to different cultures, right? And even if you're in the hood, that's still possible, right? Because you got the Spanish people there. You definitely got go to the Arab store, right? They go hang around them and listen to how they talk. For me, I work with a lot of women, a lot of people from India, and those are two different ways of communicating. When it's with women, it's I feel and I think. When it's with people from India, it's very textbook. I got to know a bunch of technical shit. When it's people from America, it's more chilled and relaxed. Like, the more you can expose yourself to different environments, different cultures, shit, even I'm helping you right now. If you can't even find people, change your fucking radio station. Listen to country music. I know it sounds weird. Just listen to something you're not used to listening to, right? Expose yourself to something different. Even if you have nothing, you still fucking have something. There are homeless people in Atlanta right now, fucking cell phones, all right? You can Google different things. What I'm saying is that the more exposure you can get yourself to different cultures, different types of people, different situations, the quicker you can start amending how you talk. Doesn't mean you change your personality. It just means I know how to talk to get what I want to who I want to get to. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, right? The more exposure you can get, the more well-versed you can become.
I'm going to tell you one thing, because I definitely took your advice, and I'm going to take your advice again and go to the country thing, because something that I did to help me become less country slang, I would go listen at motivational speakers and mimic the way that they spoke.
Yeah.
In order to make sure that I could speak to people and not sound like I'm about to rob them at the same time. So, but that's great advice. BG?
Look, we got MOG dissing us in these comments right now. So I'm just too tickled right now. Look,
can we deport him? Isn't his visa over with?
Look. So check this out, man. I don't know what I'm supposed to be talking about, but I don't even care. We're going to talk about what we want to talk about, because this is what communication is. If you're watching, we're struggling streamers. We need you to like and subscribe. That's one thing.
Struggle. Streaming all over the internet.
Your uncle and them, because in culture, we like to say in them. In them means everybody else. It don't matter how many of them. It could be 5, one other person, or 17 people. Get your mama and them, your uncle and them, your cousins and them to all like and subscribe, because we need all of them. But anyhow, back to this here. When it comes to communication, we need to open our fat mouths, because what they say, closed mouths don't get fed. But guess what? If you talk too much, we're going to think you're running game on us. So all we're saying is have a fine balance. Closed mouths don't get fed, but if you come up with 1,000 words in a 30-second period, I think you're trying to run game on me. I ain't going to listen to nothing you say. Clear and concise, effective communication has to be clear and concise. Make your point. Ain't no, I don't know what it is. I don't know what I want. The only creature or people in this whole world that can get away with not knowing what they want to eat is the female. The female lion doesn't struggle. They hungry, they go kill a hyena, because they're the ones who go hunt, right? The lionesses. Every other brand of female knows what they want to eat. They communicate effectively by going and attacking it. But human females, that's the only group in this whole entire world of females that can get away with not communicating properly what they want to eat. We'll give them a pass. Everybody else use effective communication. And I'm done.
Well, I don't.
Was that a valid point or a point at all? I don't even know. What
We have no idea. I'm gonna make mine quick.
It was a diss at women in their confusion with food.
I'm gonna give men a 2 sales techniques that I found out that works even in your relationship. Right? Well, 3. First thing any man can do. If you're not listening to your girl, make sure you catch the last 3 or 4 words of her statement and repeat those back to her as in a question. You get it? So like we said, inflection is key at this point in time. So the last three words she said, repeat it back as a question. So your inflection is very important. You say you went to your mom's? You get that? I went high, and it came out of a question, and she'll go on talking, and you can catch up to the conversation. Now, the next 2 are very, very, very important. There's something inside sales called feel, felt, found. When you are in a disagreement with anybody, a woman, a man, you want to show some form of empathy. You repeat back what they said. As I say, I feel what you are saying about X, Y, and Z. I have found out in the past, if we do X, Y, and Z, well, I found out in the past we do X, Y, and Z, I forgot how to do it. God damn. I think I did it all inside the same thing. Feel, felt, found. Man, I haven't done it in a long time. I feel like, just like, I'm going to get it. I feel where you're coming from with X, Y, Z. I found out inside the past, I feel where you're coming from. I found out if we do such and such, we can get to where we need to go. And that's it. All right. I got through it.
You are in competition with the English language, and one of y'all is not winning.
Yeah, you are definitely right. But just like I said, I always struggle with.
What's the third one, though? What's the third one? We can't miss that.
Felt, found. I feel where you're coming from. I always skip over felt. I feel the same way if we do X, Y, and Z. I found out if we do this, we can get here. Those are the things. So the feel, felt, found. I just kept skipping over felt.
You have 3 points.
So, okay.
Repeat what
the third one is
feel, felt, how.
Because you are trying to run me on. I get it.
No, I'm
like
not.
I said,
I'm pushing you along. Look, I'm actually helping. That's a
I get it.
Iron sharpens iron.
Man is the man. So this is a question that I use all the time too. Let me make sure I get it right since Amari is bothering me. Tell me what blank means to you. Whatever they're talking about. That simple question would change things, right? Tell me what blank means to you. And whatever they give you from the blank, do it again. Tell me what that blank means to you. And you won't get to the realness until you get to like the third blank.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Take notes, gentlemen. Yeah. So I got so for those of you who are not listening in those conversations, I got some key things to help you figure out what the fuck is being said. These are my tricks and techniques. At any point in the conversation, just say, "Are you serious?" Or my favorite, "Wait, what?" Notice how I'm saying it.
And you're saying it as a question.
As a question. And lastly, why would they say that? Or why would they do that, right? Am I paying attention? Probably not.
You are definitely not most of the time. But
most of the time, no, I'm not. I'm thinking about something more important, like, oh, I gotta do my taxes. Right, things that matter. So, but the point being is that these questions help you because they're gonna repeat what was said. And now, because you weren't paying attention, you can grab on to some key things, right? And just say something like, okay, also, if you're with a woman, I guarantee you, and this is a biblical fact, God even said it, that there is at least one woman at her job that she fucking hates. And whoever that woman is, you need to fucking hate them too. With all the passion. And all you need to say is, I can't stand her either. Why would she do that? Why haven't they fired her yet? What is her deal? Doesn't matter if you give a shit or not. You just need to hate them as well. All right. This is a life lesson. Past, I need to clap or some shit because I just gave them some really good advice. Because there's at least one woman. I guarantee you right now, if you are a female on this chat, is there not one woman at your job that you just can't fucking stand? Sometimes her name is Barbara, Pam, Linda, We know them. Karen. It's okay to not like them. But fellas, don't like them too.
That is a true statement. That's the realest shit you ever wrote. I had to quote Tupac off of that one. All right. So let's get into number 2.
Disrespecting us all night. I can't. He throwing disses. I'm gonna stop posting this stuff. You right?
Man, just telling me. Oh, I would tell him to cam up, but you know he got that bad internet. So.
That internet, yeah. It's in a net. It's caught. It's just you can't catch up. But anyway, go ahead. We listen.
All right. So we are done with the video. So let's get to number 2, and we're gonna keep it quick here because we are definitely up against a hard stop. Number 2, understand where you are needed versus where you are wanted. Be aware of all your relationships. Minister Amari.
Yeah, so if you are a black male dating a white woman, she might hate her dad and you're the reason why. So all I'm saying is that there's nothing wrong with that, but understand that sometimes you can be in a situation where you're being taken advantage of, and discernment or decisiveness is knowing the difference between being needed and being wanted, right? Like if I'm in a relationship and we're building something, that's kind of a need and a want. But if I'm just being someone's arm candy or reason to fight with their father, then that's not a need. That's just a situation. So I think when we talk about being needed versus being wanted, it's you understanding your own self-worth. Because the moment you start understanding your own self-worth as a man, you understand the places where you need to be, where you want to be, and where you don't want to be. And I think a lot of men, because they don't know who they are on the inside, don't know how to place those things. And that's not confusing. I think so. I'm gonna say it like this. As a man, I need to know where I best fit in and where I can bring the most to the table. And when I'm needed, that's where I need to show up at, right? That's where I need to show up at, and I need to perform. Where I'm wanted, that can be fucking temporary. And I need to know and understand that thing. Now, what I would want to do, this is gonna sound a little backwards, is okay, I'm different. I'm a fucking narcissist, so I'll make sure that I'm wanted and needed at all places and times because that my validation depends on that. So, yeah, I don't get that, but that's how I became successful. So, all that to say,
you did that on the guys trip. I remember that. I did do that. He would disrespect you while still providing everything you requested. I'm like, this man had a whole utility belt. Like he was like during which is Batman. I'm like, how does he have everything that everybody needs while still disrespecting us? Like, I don't know if I should receive it, but I need it. So I'm gonna take it anyway, roll my eyes and be like, this guy here. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen it work in action. I'm telling you anything. What you mean you have this special $50 lotion? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this? Oh, eyes. What? These eye drops made in Africa. How do you happen to have these right now? And they will help with this specific condition I have. Everything.
When Jonathan went into the store, I needed some more eye drops, and he bought me the store brand. Do you know how insulted I was? I was like, I don't use this shit. I'm not a peasant. I can afford the actual. I can afford to pay the 30-cent difference.
You can afford the Visine, huh?
Yeah, I can afford the. You want to bring me out Walgreens? The fuck is this shit? They're a pharmacy, not eye drops.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Get ready for the disconnect.
We waiting. Look, this what bothers me. Before MOG chimes in. See, I know we're supposed to be on this topic from a male-centric version, and my girl, she can hear me, but it doesn't apply to her. But I'm speaking generally. This is my problem. You talking about understand where you are needed versus where you are wanted. Well, I needed some milk and cookies, so to speak, the land of milk and honey, but you didn't want to give me none. So that's my term for that. So that's my remix on this. This is what I needed, but you ain't want to give me none. Oh, that's your background. There he go. He got crickets in his background. You better mute it, MOG. You stop it. You got this light skin privilege going on, but it ain't working tonight. But anyhow, so everybody
He moving the phone around, so I just muted him until you
that's
finish.
what's going. You muted and he frozen. But look, that's what be giving me trouble. So it's like understand where you are needed. Well, sometimes I get it mixed up. I don't know the are needed. I just like understand what I need, baby. This is what I need. And right now, you ain't want to give me none.
Is he in?
He
the
looks
DR?
like Drake. Perfect. Like
no, he does
not in his resemblance. But I'm saying the cheesy, the Degrassi. No, I'm saying the Degrassi version, not
we can't
famous
send
Drake.
the actual. We can't send the actual Drake, but we got this standby.
Exactly. He's the Degrassi Drake. He's like, I want to be famous, but I ain't quite there. He's straight Degrassi. Look, he's frozen.
He's the paralyzed
right
Drake.
Now. Yeah, look at this. He's in the whole wheelchair.
He said
with
a word,
Canadian
but it hasn't
aid.
come through yet. He said something.
He can't get it out. He's frozen again. Let's boot him off. Let's just get him off. He does it again. It strikes again. You are who we thought you were.
Me lately. That's all I want to know.
You are who we thought you were.
He literally come on to go off. He literally came
This
every
is
time.
This is the prime example of being where you are wanted versus where you are needed.
Well,
he wasn't on for the night, right? He was not needed for the night.
No, listen. No, you said Pastor Life, listen, we want him to be on here, but he needs better internet. That's the whole problem. We want him to be on here, but he needs better internet. So he needs to understand that. We want you here, but he has to understand he needs better internet. It's
that Miami internet is terrible.
He on Metro PC Mess. That's what he's on. Metro PC Mess. It's terrible. I gotta say it like Charles, but it's terrible. Ain't no E in that. It's terrible. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm gonna talk about it from this perspective. I'm gonna talk about it from this perspective, right? About
go ahead.
About women. When you're on a first date, a woman wants you to be there to pay for her dinner. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Where you are needed is the woman that wants to pay for your dinner and want to build a relationship with you and see the value in you. That's the one you need to be with. Instead of doing the foodie call, you need to build a life call. And those are the two different
booty calls. They doing foodie calls out here.
Yeah, that's actually an article about women doing foodie calls. Hold 1 second. Let's bring him back on. And now you're licking your tongue like that, dude.
Let's stop it. It's failure. Look,
can you speak?
He's glitchy right now.
It's failure. It's failure.
Let's boo. He's done for the night. Let's go ahead.
He's done for the night. He's done. Stan, you can just go back to the chat, sir. Go back to
you were making a valid point. Go ahead. You're helping a lot of guys out in a dating situation. Don't be distracted. He's light skinned. He's trying to change the game. Go ahead. We listen to you, Pastor.
I think that Minister Omari hit the nail on his head. There was a reason why when I did this right here, it was for a point why I chose this picture with the guy with his head down and her walking away sad, because once again, we're looking at the state of needy versus want. And a lot of times we get the two mixed up, and it's typically sexual, right? We want.
I need you to lay the pipe, but I don't want to marry you or be with you.
Yeah, that too. You did it in a comical way, but it's the same thing, right? And sometimes we get the two crossed up because after we have sex with a person, we think we need to be inside a relationship with them because they might offer us great sex. But that's what we want. It might not be the thing that we need. I've had great sex with plenty of women that are very toxic that I wanted to stay with because I thought I needed to have that sex. But it was just what I wanted at that point in time. And men could get this crossed up. Women get it crossed up a lot more. So I definitely give them that. Women usually get caught inside this trap a lot longer than men will, because women have the propensity after they actually have sex with the guy and go 3 months with him, they think they need to stay there because of time invested. Men don't typically deal inside time. So men was like, I wanted your sex. I needed your sex right then and there, but I found something better. So I'm gonna move over there because I need it there. Men typically do this with jobs and marriages. I gotta say this, jobs and failed marriages. When the marriage is burning out, they will stay there and try to make it happen because they think they are needed in that particular situation. Are they needed? Sometimes they are. Sometimes they aren't because they want to stay because of the kids. And they say the kids need me. The kids need me. But it could be a toxic. It could be a toxic situation. What do you do in that point of what is it you do?
So what I would say is I think the motive is altruistic and that you want to be there for the kids, but the reality is that you are doing more damage than good because what you are raising them in is a failed marriage where the love is not shared. And so they see their parents together but not in love. And you don't think that they're going to recreate that shit? Because that is the default for them, right? You are the default for them. It is healthier and more of a man to say that I am willing to part ways and raise our children separately because we can give them the love that we need, but we can't give them the love that we need together.
Well, I'll say this. Look, and speaking firsthand experience, and I'm going to make it quick. Kids, they do need you. So, we're not negligent of that point. But the thing is, when you're saying need you, they need you to be happy because that's when you're your best you. That's all we're really saying, right? And so that's one thing I had to come to grips with. Like, okay, you
need you to be responsible.
But that's something I embrace with responsibility. But it's one thing to be responsible and an unpleasant person in a disconnect because you can throw money all day. But if people do it, you technically handled your responsibility because you paid in the financial, but you want to be sensitive, you want to be happy, you want to be approachable, and then like, okay, now I feel the tender love and care coming from a male perspective. And it's not just, because a lot of guys do that. They pay their child support on time every time and still don't have a relationship with the kids.
But the thing is what I'm saying is that, like, so I don't disagree with you. But a lot of fathers and men are there because they are happiest being married in a family. And so they won't leave that happiness because in their mind, to leave that is a failure. And they don't want to
let's be honest. Because the word happy is subjective. It's the mindset is I'd rather be married in a family because that's more presentable, more respectable. There's honor in that. Because you got a lot of guys who could. The reason I say that because a lot of guys can stay in that situation and not be happy. Because it's typically the guys who will tough it out in those instances that people don't think about. But
they're convincing themselves that this is what happiness is. Right. That's
but convincing and actually being happy are two different things is all I'm saying. Yeah. Like, it's okay to have that train of thought. And that's what I'm saying. I'm fine with having that train of thought. But the reality is, if somebody asks them, are they happy? That's the question that needs to be answered. So when I'm saying the kid needs them, they're saying, I'm going to be in a relationship because this is the idea of what it should be in raising a kid. But if you're in an unhappy relationship raising a kid compared to I'm out of that relationship and I'm happy and now raising the kids, but that's a different thing because it's not the concept of happiness. It's you actually being happy and now raising them. And so that's where a lot of guys get stuck at because it's like the concept of being happy versus actually being happy. And the thing is, they penalize themselves because it's like, well, because after a while, it's not about happy. It's about the responsibility. And sometimes what we miss in responsibility is saying, my feelings don't matter as long as I'm responsible. That might work in corporate America in certain things, but when you talk about in a relationship, and even in corporate America is kind of misguided because it's like if you don't like this job, you're not really wanting to be as responsible as you should be. Go ahead.
You're discounting the power of lying to yourself, right? If I can lie to myself, okay. How long were you married before?
I was married for 14 years paper-wise.
Okay.
But see, the thing you saying lying to yourself, no, some guys are still aware of what it is, but making that step it's a fear factor, right? If you've never been in that situation. That's why I'm looking at it.
But that's where I was getting at it, right? Like,
but that don't mean you lying to yourself. It's a fear thing. Like, how will it be? Because this is all I know what I do. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference between I'm lying to myself.
I think they can be connected. I think I'm going to lie to myself because I'm afraid of what's going to happen. So I'm going to tell myself that I can make this work. And what people don't understand is that some things are not meant to last, and that is perfectly okay. Every fucking thing dies. Name one thing alive that doesn't die. And sometimes that thing happens to be an unsuccessful marriage, and that is okay. Because now you know what.
But that's
not
the
to
hope,
marry
right?
again.
People have hope from culture, religion. Like there's different expectations that everybody has depending on how they were raised, depending on what their religion. So the thing is, it's not
but
that
you
it's a
die
lie.
in the grave by yourself. You are buried next to your wife, not with your wife.
That's fine, but at the end of the day, the thing is, you can't. Some people have a true, legitimate hope, so it's not discounting what you're saying. Like when you got your guy from Africa, at some point when you initially had it, there was a hope. You came to the conclusion sooner that it wouldn't work. That's great for you. Your conclusion versus some people take 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, never. Some people just never. It's like, look, we're not sleeping in the same room. The kids know we ain't like each other. They've gone on, have their own kids, and they all that. But the thing is, that's not lying to yourself. It's like making a tough decision. Everybody's not built to make the tough decision because that's why they'll stick in.
But I could have lied to myself and stayed in it and been in it right now, is what I'm saying, right? Is at a certain point. But
is that a lie, or is that just not wanting to break free? Because if you know it's bad and you stay in it, that's not a lie. That's not a lie.
It's a lie when you convince yourself that staying in it is the right choice. When you know that this shit is not working. Like for you, for example, right? When you were having phone calls every night that we were out, like, okay, to me, that's like, okay, so there's no trust there, right? Because if I have to call you and check in on you, I don't trust you. And if I'm going to live the next 20, 40 years of my life being castrated and having phone calls every time I go out, why the fuck are we together? Because you don't trust me to be me.
So let's flip it then. Who's the lie coming from? Is it from me or the other aspect where it's like, oh, I believe I can trust you, even though I'm going to show you I will never trust you? You see what I'm saying? That's the whole aspect I'm coming from. Who is it coming from? It's the flip. It's the flip because it's the other person convincing himself that this person will change. Because if I'm being me and I ain't thinking like that, then I'm not thinking about it's a matter of trust. Because I'm like, I'm good with me. But if it's on the flip side, it's like, I don't know, I'm hoping, it's getting better. Like, no, that's the other side that's going to be more delusional compared to the side where it's like, if I know, go ahead.
You can both
trying to make it work does not mean you're making it illusional. Delusional, excuse me. Trying does not equal delusion. That's all I'm saying.
You're right. Trying does not equal delusional, but results do. If you ain't fucking and it's been 5 months and you think y'all making it work, you're delusional, right? Like what I'm saying is that at a certain point in it differs people, right? Being needed, being wanted in a marriage and a relationship, asking yourself, if we are not able to raise these kids in a healthy environment together in love, then it's okay to separate and raise them separately together. That's what I'm saying.
The reason I'm taking my approach, because even if you take out love, let me just come from the how many people make a deal and it's strictly business? No love involved. Love is not enough.
I know a couple.
Yeah, it's a business deal. It's a bit. Yeah. In other cultures, when they're saying, oh, here's my daughter, here's my son, right? Dowries, all that, that's shown in history. Love is a bonus. It sounds like it's disrespect when you hear that, but in many cultures, love is a bonus. If you happen to love each other, congratulations, that's a bonus. Because they treat it like this is straight business, make a deal. We're not saying love is not important. Love is a necessity in certain instances, right? It helps, right? It's the human necessity. That's why mothers cling to their children. And when they don't have love, they toss them to the side and they're left out to the wolves. But the reality
not part
is
of the original agreement, though. So what I'm saying is that if you're saying in this agreement where we no longer love each other, we can make that work. And I'm saying most people cannot do that, right? When we are no longer in love, I don't want to lay next to you every night.
That's when you revisit the deal. See, we talk about this. How many people revisit the deal? Like, look, this how I feel. This how you feel.
Sometimes you can't make a deal, and that's okay. That's when you fucking the deal is we don't want to be together.
Okay, but if you revisit that, now you have an understanding. What happens is if you say you don't love me, I don't love you, and we don't revisit, and we're both putting in the effort like it's supposed to be loving, it's gonna fail. But if it's like, look, you don't love me, I don't love you, I don't want to die alone, you don't want to die alone, let's be companions. You can sleep in your room, I'll sleep in mine, we'll do whatever we need to do for the kids. Like that, you make these deals. Like, yeah, like when you have Jada and Will, the only reason they made a deal.
And look at their kids, they are so much better for it.
But for less minus the kids, we talking about their deal. He doesn't have to be there. If he's still there, whatever agreement they have, they made it. That's why I'm not tripping too hard, because they're Hollywood. But there are a lot of regular deals. Forget Hollywood. That's just like that, where people are like, look, hey, I'm cool. Compare. You got me on your insurance. I got you on my insurance. The bill, everything. I'm gonna die. You get this here. Cool. It's easier that way, and they're okay with that. Revisit the deal. We talk about that as well. Once you make a deal, if the deal feel like it's failing and it's broken, revisit it. If you don't revisit it, you're gonna have animosity and resentment because you didn't come and rediscuss the new terms. But if you revisit it and y'all say y'all good with this, stick it out, because that's what y'all said. If you ain't good with it at that point, then you break it off. That's all I'm saying.
Are you still fucking then? I'm sorry, excuse me. Are you still?
If that's part of the deal, sometimes in those deals, there's like, look, I ain't gonna give you nothing. You can get whoever you want. I don't care. This stuff happens. Like, why are we kidding? Like, they're like, hey, get somebody to get your rocks off. I'll be here. We'll pay the bills. Hey, for all intents and purposes, we'll raise these kids together. Whatever. Do what you want to do. Like, we had Toyota Tudor who said, look, and she's on the show. She kept it real. Like, look, if my guy does such and such, he steps out. Guys do this. If he comes back home, takes care of all my needs and does what I need, I'm not tripping, because that's a deal she's made within herself. Every woman is not making that deal. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. Like, we got these things talking about delusion. Talk about what you want, because it goes back to the other one, need versus wanted. Let's communicate. Do you still want to be with me? Yes. Okay, why? Because if you're showing signs that you don't love me, if you say the sex is horrible, then why do you want to be with me? If we can pinpoint that, cool. If we can't, then yes, I'm out. It's all these tie in together. That's why we have these five.
No, right. They're all tying together. But then what you're saying is that someone can be an excellent communicator in their profession and a shitty communicator in their relationship.
And that's why you're not a great communicator. Because me and my girl had a talk about this very thing a few days ago. It's like, look, the worst thing is you can be working in communications, win these rewards, be excellent, and can't communicate at home. You're not a great communicator to me. You're not a great communicator. Home is more challenging out there. You can sell the dream out there.
It is so
if you can't do it at home, you're trash to me. Don't tell me you're good. Give me a trophy, strip him. I will come and go to your job and be like, he sucks because he ain't talked to his wife in 3 months. And he talking about he a great communicator. I'm just being real from my standpoint.
Yeah, I'm agree. I'm saying, fellas, so let me tell you real quick right now. If you are in an argument that you cannot win, or you want to just calm some shit down, learn to just be wrong, right? And then fuck everything up. And be like, you know what? You're right. What can I do to make you happy? And then put the burden on her. And watch the wheels start spinning on what the fuck they don't know what to say, right? Because now what you've done is you've removed the argument out of the equation and said, what do you want? Because before there was an argument. Now, to get back to your point, BG, about the discussion, right? I agree with you, and I agree with you. If you can communicate externally, but can't communicate internally amongst your family, your spouse, then no, you're not a good communicator. Because the place that you need to be communicating at the most, you failed at. What that tells me is that means that you are not able to be flexible. You are not able to make a deal and a compromise. Because in your mind, you have a certain way of seeing how the world has to be, not how the world actually is. So the world actually is, to your point, BG, is, you know what? Yeah, we don't love each other no more. But you know what? I don't want to deal with nobody else. I don't do any of the shit. So we're going to fuck each other, raise these kids. You sleep in your room, I sleep in my room, and we cool. That's making a deal. But that takes maturity. That takes being honest and seeing how the world really works versus what you want it to be. And I don't think a lot of people have it. I think more people want to see the world for how they want to see it versus how it actually is. And I think that's the problem. And I think when you find a man who can't communicate well, that's the issue, is that there's a way that he sees the world and wants to see it versus seeing how it actually is. Past Life is a good example of that, right? He grew up in a rundown, shitty, no name, nothing place that I only heard of when I went to a certain part of Florida. And look at him now. He's 6'4".
He grew up in adverse conditions. We'll clean it up for him. Yeah, you can't disrespect his hometown. He still gotta go there. He still gotta go there.
He actually grew up in the hometown, though.
But look,
not a city,
off
a town.
of G code, he cannot let you talk about that and not address it. Because when he goes back there, now you made it hard for him to visit the city. He grew up in adverse situations. We got it. Okay, let's go.
It's like one of the most dangerous places in Florida, and he wanted to start talking crazy like that. You trying to get me killed?
They can't afford to come where I live. I'm fine.
You trying to get me killed when I go back there?
Excommunicado.
Jesus. All right. So, yeah, you all. I had a question, but we were running long, so let's get to number one. You all had a great debate on that one, so I just let you go. So let's get to number one, and we'll close it out for tonight. Here we go. Number one, have a vision.
Is that
purpose.
MOG? I'm sorry. I apologize. I was confused for a second. I ain't know what was happening. Like,
that guy got no vision, purpose, and plan.
I was so confused. Go ahead. I apologize.
Have a vision, purpose, and plan for yourself, and others will follow. BG, start us off.
Go ahead, yeah.
Hey, you already know the simple quote. It's the most quoted thing, Bible or not Bible. Hey, people with a lack of vision, they shall perish, right? A vision tells me you know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, you're dying. Look, when we talk about water, the worst water is stagnant water. And people think, look, you can buy clean water, perfectly nice water. In the bottle, it's protected. When you pour out that same, whatever you drink, Zephyr Hills, Nestle, for that dude, former producer, Deer Park, and all his other glacier water, whatever it is, this nonsense, and you pour it in a glass. Come back 3 days later, you will see a film on top of that. The first day it may survive. You give it 3 days on there, it's going to be a film on top of that. Mosquitoes, what do they like? Stagnant water. They're laying their eggs in there. That's what helps mosquitoes, right? Stagnant water. The thing is, when you have a vision and purpose, you're fluid and you're moving. You're making things happen. People think, oh, I don't know what I want to do. You're stagnant. You know why people can drink river water? I ain't talking about Florida water. That's terrible. We're talking about in Colorado and places like that where it's going over these mineral rocks and all that, and you can see the water is clear. You can see all the fish swimming in that. It's moving. It's moving. You could drink river water when it's flowing downstream, not lake water. A lot of these people talking about, oh, I don't know what I want to do in life. You're stagnant. That's a cesspool. You're no good. You're toxic by default. You have to have vision and purpose. And the thing is, just because you're moving, that doesn't mean you get everything right. But I tell you one thing, you won't be stale. You'll eventually figure it out. Keep a forward direction, forward momentum. Even if you don't have it mastered, you will figure things out. We already talked about it earlier. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. That's what vision is. I'm going to try 10,000 times. And then good. Look, eventually you get the template. Look, I'm going to let these guys chime in. But look, stagnation is disgusting. I hate it because I reflect now. When I was stagnant, and Minister Amari, he hates that about himself a lot. If he goes back 20 years ago, 10 years ago, because those are the parts where he probably had his most depression. Then he's like, F all this. I'm going to keep it moving. I'm going to make stagnation leads to depression. If you wonder why you're depressed, just look at your movement. It ain't got to be perfect. But if you sitting there, I'm just going to be home playing these video games. I'm going to be home eating cereal in my mama's basement, smoking weed. Same thing every day. You think you're doing something different, but it's really the same thing every day, and it's stagnation. No, keep that thing moving, and you will come with a game plan and link up with other people that will pull you in directions you've never been in. That's what I did when I linked up with Minister Amari and Pastor Life. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do things I ain't never did. Mind open. Yeah. Okay, that's a check. I'm checking boxes I ain't even know I needed to check. So now I'm not stagnant, and it unlocks my mind. And guess what I do? Now I present something different to them because they changed my train of thought. No, man, look, I can go on for days about that, but it annoys me because when people are like, oh, what's going on? You're doing the exact same stinking thing in the exact same stinking spot. How many guys in the hood haven't been out there during state? We ain't gonna even say country, out your state. You stay in your same hood. You haven't dated. You haven't done. Yeah, like
you're right.
come
City
on.
limits. Yeah.
City limits. You haven't done anything
Never been
different.
on a plane. Yeah.
Come on. You don't talk like no. We're gonna break that. Like, come on, stop it.
So BG, I was gonna make a joke and compliment you about you being able to cross state lines again, but I won't.
You still made the joke.
That was the point.
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate it. I appreciate that.
But
You're nuts.
but the vision, purpose, and a plan. I think to BG's point, right? There's a quote, right? Your network is your net worth. If you look around and all your friends are around, maybe slightly above, below your level, you need new friends, right? Because there's no one there. Again, let's go back to what we talked about: responsibility, competition. There's no one there to compete with. There's no one there to challenge you to do more. And I think what BG is saying, and I'm gonna reiterate that, is that we are part of a collective group of guys who are diverse in what we do, from politics to law to business, all over, the real estate, investments, insurance, all this shit, right? And yet when we come together, there's an honor in the challenge, right? Like, okay, if my buddy's doing this, then I need to be doing this, right? And we're not all trying to get to the same place. We're all in different places, but it's the fact that we help each other become better. In that I look at this, like I look at BG, right? He's balancing family, he's balancing work, he's balancing life, and he's doing the shit well. And I'm like, okay, well, if my buddy's doing that, then I can do the same thing too. But if you're looking at all your friends and all of y'all are on Team Struggle, you need some new fucking friends, because ain't nobody really going where.
Hashtag Team Struggle. I'm
because
sorry.
You're struggling, right? You're not trying. They're not trying to really go nowhere. You're not trying to really go nowhere. You honestly, what you really need, if you want vision, purpose, and a plan, is you need friends that make you uncomfortable. You need friends that make you want to challenge yourself. Back in the day, back when we were all together, we had friends going on internships to Fortune 500 companies, and that shit was intimidating. Okay, so you got a job at where? Doing what? And they paying you how much? Well, shit, I got to up my game too, right? So when we talk about, and I think another thing is that this too, is when you grow up in the hood, all you know is today. All you know is I got to survive today. And when we talk about vision, purpose, and plan, you have to be able to see the future. And I think a lot of young men are in a place where they live in the, to BG's point, in the right now. You're doing the same shit over and over again. And the next thing you know, and I swear to fucking God, little G, that you're going to be 50 to 60 years old. The big G doesn't exist. You're going to be 50 to 60 years old, living with your mama, living with your auntie, right? And we see it right now. How many grown-ass men live with their parents still? You 30, 40, 50 years old living with your mom and your dad. Who the fuck want to come fuck you? And if they do you want to marry that kind of person? And the answer is no, but you probably will.
He said he still probably will. That's your way out into most struggle. Look, this gets people hot because you know we all mad about it, because the thing is we heard all the excuses. I've made some of the excuses. I think that's the annoying part. When it's guys, you talking about I'm a boss, I'm a this, I'm that. And nobody can tell you they plan. That goes into can you communicate your plan? Let's tie it all in. Can you calm down for a moment, take a seat, right? So you're managing, you keep your composure, understanding where you need it in your society. That means your group of friends, how you act and what you deal with, right? Where you need it. And sit and come with a vision, a purpose, and plan, and properly communicate that vision and plan to the people you're dealing with. Can you tie all of these in? That's why they overlap like that, because you have to have composure when you're in an intimidated environment. If they say, I need you to speak to these, if somebody got a guy and you said, look, you're a genius, I know you grew up in adverse situations, you came from the hood, we need you to get this PowerPoint, right? So now you're dealing with adversity. Don't lose it and go nuts on these people. Now they got money on the line. They want to invest in you. You come to them, you express your vision, purpose, and plan. You show them where you show this is how I'm going to let you know why I'm needed and I could be effective in, right? And you communicate your purpose and plan, and you tie it all in, you can win. And guess what? You come in that environment not worrying about, oh, you're talking amongst CEOs and everybody else, because they've already competed. You're in a competition to take it to another level. So you can't say, oh, you're not really competing with them. At that point, you're competing with yourself, because they've already welcomed you to the room. If they ain't want you in the room, they would have sit there and listen to you communicate and express your vision and plan. So when you tie them all together, you can come and dominate. And some guys are good at a couple here and there, but when you can make them all overlap, you're a well-rounded guy and you won't be intimidated. And whether you win or lose, people will still walk away with a lot of respect, because they'll reflect to where they were at that time and said, even though I won't invest this time, he came with more courage than I had when I compare myself to where they were at that time. And they still gonna compliment you, and you link up with people who gonna help you out. Like, it's not complicated. Get outside of yourself and understand, as a man, you have to be diverse and be able to communicate with everybody. We always talk about MLK and think it's just a black thing. This man had to go to the freaking White House and communicate with the president at the time and express what he wanted to happen. I want to say it was Lyndon B. Johnson. I'm not too sure. I'm trying to flash back. But the point is, like I was alive then, talking about flashbacking. But the point is, you have to get outside of yourself and be diverse, because this barrier we put up emotionally and mentally, everybody's not looking at you like that. Yes, a few women that might think you're a dog if you present yourself as a dog. Yeah, there may be a few people that may think you're racist. Yeah, there may be yada, 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 yada. But if you come correct, you'll realize there are more people on your side, and you will be the bridge to help other guys who might actually be straight up hood and know how to talk. You can be that bridge to help them get a plug in the connect. Man, it pisses me off. It's all available to us. That's why I don't complain anymore about, oh, this guy only paid $750 on his taxes and he made $100 million. We can do the same thing. It's not a race thing. If you go read and look at all these same templates are available to all of us. And so when we keep coming with the mindset of the man, you have to understand every law and all these things that they have when it comes to money. They may discriminate us with certain laws, with 10-20 life, drug laws, stand your ground. But when it comes to money laws, oh, please believe it's fair game. And that's why we are 501c3 right now. Amen. It's fair game. Don't complain. Jump in and make the damn thing happen. Stop it. I'm done. It's fair game.
Church of Man, right? The Church of Man.
So I want to say one more thing. Pastor, your struggle streaming, if you don't mind, please. If you could, you.
Struggle streaming all over the internet.
If you've already liked and subscribed, create another account and then like and subscribe on that one. So why not? Right?
Do what he just said.
Yeah, it takes you 2 minutes. If you can't donate, just create another account and let that account watch us all the time. So what I want to addendum to BG, what he said to the young men who are listening out there. I think a lot of times there's this thing called feeling of missing out, right? Like you feel like, okay, well, you know, we're a bit older, so we figured it out. I was like, no, we're still figuring this shit out. We've just had the time to figure a little bit more out than you have. There is no wrong time to start, right? There's no wrong time to figure out a vision, purpose, and plan. And your vision don't have to be something so fucking big. It could just be to move to a different city. It could just be to get your own place. Right? It's just stuff simple like that. Like, I didn't start out with the biggest. My biggest vision was just to not be home and go somewhere else. And that's how I ended up in college. And because of that vision, I met these people that are also on this podcast. I was going to say fine gentlemen, but I don't want to lie on national TV or podcast.
I'm pretty sure BG thought something else about when you said fine gentlemen.
I'm gonna let it be. That's
not that.
I appreciate you for not saying that.
Yeah, it's gonna come up short anyway. Yeah, that was intended. But go ahead.
But yeah, like I think the thing is that there is the time to always start is now, right? Everything that we're saying, now is the time to start. You don't need to wait till you're 29, 30, 45. Like, no, don't wait. Like life, you have the ability to be great now. And I think most young men don't realize that shit. You think that because you're home and ain't doing shit that your life can't be great. No, it can be. You just got to start making moves, and you got to start trusting yourself and being okay with failing. Everyone on this fucking podcast failed their way to this podcast, right? Failed their way.
Still failing as we grow.
Still, they are failing more than me, but we're all still failing, right? Like,
what the fuck?
Look, I'm at the point now where I work less and make more, right? That's the goal. But it took a lot of failing to get here. I had a 9-to-5. I was at a desk looking at everybody else at a fucking desk being peons and pigeons. And I said to myself, no, I'm not going to do this shit. And that was back in 2008. It is now 2022. It took a decade of fucking and failing upward to get to where I am now. But I guarantee you, if I want to write a check for $20,000 right now, I can. And that shit will cash. So and that wasn't me to try to boast or anything.
Can I look, I got to drop a plug in here since I have a vision and I have a purpose and a plan to get back in the good graces with my girl, because she overheard the part about when I was talking about the wants and the needs and talking about I want some and you're not giving me some. She took a personal look. This is all jokes. This is the thing we always talk about.
Now it's all jokes. Now it's all jokes.
Now it's all jokes.
Yeah. Well, the see, y'all ain't helping none. Y'all disrespectful. How y'all gonna have my back? And see, you know what? I'm done. You just failed. You failed me.
Put it in the private chat. Let me know in advance.
No, ain't no letting know in advance. Let me tell you, it's all. The reason I say it's all jokes because that's in relation to the compliments when we're saying just this is what I want or I need. Like that's not a problem I have, right? And stuff. So that's another tie-in. We talking about wants versus needs and whatnot. The thing is, people like to know they're wanted and like to know they're needed, as Amari said, right? He likes to have both because that's the narcissistic part of him. And what the point is, versus needs, wants. Look, the thing is, sometimes you got to want to be there too. You know, a lot of people say they need you and you help and cater to them. And then you realize I don't want to, just because you need me don't mean I have to be here. If you need me and I want to be there, that's equally effective, right? And so it's like, look, you got to be grown and communicate that. Look, I understand this is what your thing is, this is what your vision is, but I don't even want to do this no more. And that's why we don't have that dude here right now. So I had to throw a nice subtle jab in there. That dude, I hope he watching. I love him. No, he'll be back on the next one. He's doing every other one. It was just a dig at him. But ultimately, vision, purpose, and plan is great. Past Life has been big on that for over the 15, 20 years we've known him. That's one of the first things he said about us, and he built out a plan and a vision. And obviously, we still friends with him. It's hard to hear somebody stutter for 20 years, right? So that's how you know we really rocking with him, right? Like, I know you can call it a dig, but
calls really last. If we didn't have unlimited minutes.
I'm trying. Actually, we started with when we didn't have unlimited minutes. When you think about it, back 20 years ago, like it used to be like we giving you one sentence and that's all you have. Matter of fact, he used to have to call us after 9 o'clock to not mess up our data. That's how serious it was back then.
To get that free minutes.
You remember after 9? That's when it kicked in. It's like nobody spoke to Pastor Life before 9. If we did, it was to let him know to call us after 9.
And
it's like, yo, I'm calling real quick, Pastor. It used to be like, yo,
y'all
Pastor
going hard
I'm calling real quick in the afternoon. Look, we disrespectful tonight. I'm done.
You all disrespectful tonight. All right, man. I'm gonna get my little two cent before we close this out because we got about 4 minutes here. 5 minutes before we can go into communion. A lot of guys inside the manosphere, we call ourselves the whole manosphere light. We the introduction into this whole manosphere. I'm gonna go back to failure is the first thing to success. A lot of guys trying to get women when it comes to the manosphere, and they want to get it off a talk game. And I went on Sir Ism's show on last Saturday, and I kept getting that question, what is it about talk game? And I kept on pushing vision, purpose, and plan. And I kept saying it's not about your talk game. It's about your vision, purpose, and plan. If you can clearly communicate, which is number 3, to the right people and understand where you are, which is number 2, and be ready for failure if they don't accept it, which is number 5. And keep on doing that, you will get to where you need to go, and you will get to the people who you need to get to. But you got to be able to communicate your vision, purpose, and plan. Most people, if you can effectively communicate that, they will get behind you and try to push you to where you need to be. Second thing that you need to do, like BG said, you got to be willing to help other people get to their vision, purpose, and plan. And the more people you help get to theirs, more people will be willing to help you to get to yours. So this is not about you getting to a woman and getting to her draws. Only thing that I'm saying is, if you come up with a vision, purpose, and a plan, the draws will come.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple, fellas. If you get to that point to where you can clearly say where you are going, which is your vision, and why you are going, and how you will get there, which is the roadmap, they will be there on your way. You will not waste any time or with a talk game. All of that is just rudimentary at that point in time. But your vision and purpose and plan should not be about a woman. It should be about who you are as a man. It should be about your responsibility. What are you responding to? That's what's going to drive you there. Like Jordan Peterson said earlier tonight, pick up the heaviest weight you can carry and carry it. That's your burden. Inevitably, women love a man who's carrying a burden and do it willingly. People love men who do that. When you see a man moving inside his purpose where he's responding to something, we all salute that. We salute the cops, even though most of us don't like the cops. We salute the firemen, we still like the firemen. We salute the plumbers. We salute all those guys that we talk about. Who was the guys that you all mentioned tonight inside the league?
I had the HVAC guy.
Yeah,
the HVAC guy. And the handyman, man, we all salute these guys. They pick up a burden that we don't want to carry. And I'm pretty sure we would refer them to anybody to get them more business, to make sure that they would grow their business. Because that's a burden. That's a beast of burden for them. That's what they carry. So if you want to actually be successful inside life and be a better man, let's start with number 5. Let's go back to number 5, please. Let's go ahead and close this out. We're going to go back to number 5 and walk our way through it. Number 5, embrace competition, fellas. Embrace competition. You got to be willing to embrace competition. Last words on this one. And make it quick, guys.
Don't be
You
afraid
addressed
to
it
fail.
all. I don't have more. Look, you got it. Look, you already said it. I'm not going to expound on it. It's self-explanatory. Accept the challenge. That's all I'm saying with that. Accept the challenge.
Failure is the first step. That's something that Amari told me. Amari, do you want to expand on that? Make it quick for us, sir. We got to close
real
out.
Quick. So the way that you get to success is that you allow yourself to fail. Because once you fail, you know what not to fucking do.
And you come back and you repeat and find out, you respond and you communicate with other people.
Look, let me tell you, the goal is not to be successful. The goal is to get better at failing less. And then success will come.
That's it. 4, champion your responsibility / accountability.
I'll talk on this one.
Okay,
you ain't even got to finish it. A man of means is a responsible man. Hey, I'm telling you, man, if you're taking better care of your dog than your kids, and it's a real thing because we've seen it, that is not responsibility. We need you to tighten up there. JoJo, Pookie, Ray. Just because you laying the pipe down and you think, I fulfill her physical needs, she does not care for you emotionally because you don't do anything else. So when you talk about responsibility, it's about being able to be responsible for somebody else's vision establish a vision of your own and being responsible for that, and definitely being responsible in society. That means, hey, when we get you the vasectomy shirt, you feel me? You're not around here having 10 babies just for the sake of it. We don't need you doing that. So you got to be responsible in society, be responsible at your home, be responsible at your job, be responsible in every aspect of your life. It can't just be with what you want. It can't just be, I washed my car, right, and I took care of my dog. Responsibility goes outside of that.
Number 3, communicate effectively. Words are powerful. Use them wisely.
So my sage words is expose yourself to different cultures and different ways of talking and thinking and being as much as you can. Whether it's listen to the country music station, whether it's going to an Arab store, whether just hanging around people who are different culture. Learn how other people communicate and understand that. And understand how to talk to women. Again, key things. That bitch is crazy.
Now, you right on part. I was about to say, is she trifling? Let her know she trifling. But I agree with you.
Number 2, understand where you are needed versus where you are wanted. Be aware of all your relationships. Last words on this one, anybody?
Yeah, since I'm on the hot seat right now, hold on. You got to let me clear this up, and you can finish it tomorrow. Look, I need my baby to be in agreement with me tonight, and I want to get along. So, baby, I love you, and I'm sorry. So I want you, and I want you to understand that we need to be on the same page, and I apologize. That's me being humble for right now.
Minister Mari, it sounds like you had something better to say.
I was gonna say that's an effective communication. So
because he caking real hard right now, boy. He brown nosing. He's trying to get out that dog house. He's gonna be out there with the dog tonight. What you talking about?
And it's gonna be taken care of too. That dog. Go ahead.
Both of y'all are gonna have no AC. All right, Minister Mari, final words on this one.
Yeah, I would just say, right. I think for me, all this starts with knowing yourself first, right? Like, I think a lot of young black men, especially, don't know themselves. They know what they've been told to be. They know what the media says, what TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. But take the time to know you, and then you'll start to see where you're needed and where you're wanted at. And then you'll be able to walk the fuck away if you need to.
Last one, have a vision, purpose, and plan for yourself, and others will follow.
For me, this one starts with your network and your net worth. Look at a very influential, wealthy man once told me, if you have 9 broke friends, then you're the 10th. If you have 9 wealthy friends, you're the 10th. Look at the people you're connected to. If they ain't doing shit, you ain't doing shit either. Connect yourself with people who are doing something, because those people will help you. Everything we talked about, communication, commitment, challenge, all of that, they'll help you get to where you want to be just because you're connected to them. The vision, even if your vision doesn't have to be grandiose, it doesn't have to be big. All it has to be is, what's my next move? If you're living with mom and dad, move the fuck out. If you got a roommate, get a place on your own. Get a car in your name. Make some moves. Don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid to be stagnant, because that's worse than failure.
All right, that's the last. And now it's time for communion inside Men's Relations Network Ministries. So fellas, raise your glass. So we hope you all enjoyed this. I kind of already figured that the numbers might be low tonight because we were trying to get some things out there. But once again, this is for the men who really want to better themselves. And this was a little bit more somber, a little bit more relaxed show, but we try to give you all some quality content out there. But once again, hey, come back, rewatch it again, and like, subscribe, share. And if you feel the need to actually give to the Men's, go for it. If you got something out of this. So once again, man is good all the time, and all the time, man is good. All right, fellas, what's your thoughts on the show tonight?
It's still live.
Yeah, I know. I was just going to let it run for like 2 or 3 minutes so they can see what goes on behind the scenes.
I think it was a good show. I enjoyed it. A lot of engagement, a lot of communication. I was with it the whole time.
You was. I thought you were going to run down. I kept asking you in the back chat what was going on. I was trying to make sure that you was okay. I saw you was taking a toke every now and then, so I was concerned about your timeline.
Oh no, this is a upper, so that's why I'm still available right now.
Okay. All right, BG sir, your thoughts?
No, it was cool, man. Look, I cranked it up when you called out the energy, so I was like, let's take it to another level. But honestly, I'm vibing, man. Look, I took all the insults from Minister Amari tonight, and what I've noticed, I don't know what kind of medication you're on, but you've been stuttering a lot less. So I kind of, it's been very helpful. Like, yes, I just had to put that out there, and I know Amari's noticed it. Well,
I mean, honestly, yeah, he actually's right. You have
seriously,
yeah. That's why I think probably called it out so much because we kind of because the show is only 3 hours because we talked this time. Normally, it's because you were.
Yeah, you would give us an additional 30 minutes off of stuttering.
Man, if all y'all life right now.
Yeah, you got stud talk, then you got stutter talk. Like, that's what you mastered right there. But anyway, it's a different meaning when people say, I ain't stuttering you. I mean, studying you. You feel me? Country's term when it's like, I ain't studying you. It's like, with you, it's like, I ain't stuttering you, but you can't help it. Okay, I apologize.